Now we can talk because we're on mute.
Oh man, I know we were muted. You're not. You're not good today.
Good.
You're not technology.
IG,
Facebook. Welcome.
YouTube.
Happy Sunday. Ace is up. We're here, and we're live.
Happy Christmas.
What the hell is Happy Christmas?
Happy past day Christmas.
What is Happy Christmas?
Happy past Christmas.
Happy past Christmas?
Yes.
What happened to belated Merry Christmas?
That's so official. I'm not.
Happy. Now, was everybody's Christmas happy? It's supposed to be Merry Christmas.
What's the difference?
There's a difference between happy and merry. There's no sound on Facebook. That's what we're getting. There's no sound. On IG, we got Davis Peaks. We have Barbara Anson. We have See You Later, Just Peachy. Alex, do we have sound? Now there's sound.
We have sound.
We're on and live. We're on and live.
No, Alex, you don't know how to play with the buttons.
Ooh. All right. We're going to why are you starting off so nasty?
Wait, I just said she doesn't know how to play with the buttons.
That's not nice.
What do you mean? She might not know how to
be merry, mother effer.
She might have gotten a brand new phone. A brand new phone, and she's working the buttons.
Be merry.
Wow, you just have a dirty mind.
No, just be merry. I didn't say anything dirty. I said be nice.
I'm always nice.
Can you fix that?
What are you trying to
Facebook. How's everybody doing out there? Everybody's good? We're going to give it some time just for people to join us live.
You're already starting, bro?
Yes.
Talking about Mary and,
Avanza, papi. Si tú no estás conmigo aquí, estás tarde.
Is it the lights?
A las 8.
Is it the lights?
Son
You're too
las
hot
8.
because you look like you're glistening.
I am.
You're glistening like
I
that
always get hot because these lights.
Like that black model in Belly, bro.
What?
You were shiny.
What, bro? What?
The black model in Belly. You never saw. We spoke about this earlier.
I know.
And you said you saw it, but then can't recall.
Listen, it's a combination of toner. It's a combination of serum.
Are you talking about yourself or the model?
My face.
Oh, okay.
That's what you do. It's a natural thing.
Is
you
it?
just do. Yeah, it's a glow. Okay. So that's why it's shiny.
I got you. All right.
Learn how to clean your face right. No, I'm kidding.
Wow. Wow.
Where is it? Wow.
Good job.
So we have an interesting show for everyone today. We're going to be regaining trust and the possibility of that even being possible. Okay, and not just trust in relationships, but trust in all aspects, because the way you lose trust, it can be with lack of communication, it can be with lies, it can be with deceit, infidelity, it can go on and on and on. So we're going to be bringing you
really heavy, like. That's nothing merry about that. Like, Jesus Christ, man.
I said that's what we're going to bring them later. That's what we're going to bring them later.
Oh, okay.
And first of all, I didn't pick the topic.
That was my choice.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. It was.
So point the finger to yourself.
Okay.
So say self.
Self.
It's my fault.
It was my choice.
It was my fault.
It's my choice. It's my choice. Not fault. There was nothing wrong with it. My choice.
All right, so blame yourself.
For what? There was no wrongdoing.
You said that was a lot.
What was a
heavy?
lie?
That was heavy.
Heavy, yeah. Where you get lie from? You're already in that mode.
Heavy.
I said it was heavy. It is a heavy subject. That's all.
Jitterbug. Alex says she's jitterbug. So tell us, how was everyone's Christmas? I was gonna say we got Inspired Diosa on Instagram. Hello, that is me.
Is that the you just waved?
I didn't wave.
Oh, I just saw her wave. That's all.
You're waving up in your brain is where you waving.
That's all I just that. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait,
Super mega producer is working. He's waving at you, Papa.
I can't.
Oh
shit! I can see. What the fuck? Oh.
He's a hot mess today, guys. So please excuse him.
I am not a hot mess. I'm good.
He's a hot mess.
I'm good.
He's Mary Martinez today.
Mary Martinez.
Mary Martinez.
Listen, I don't understand how you like giving government information.
It is what it is, Papa.
It
is what it is. It is what it is.
Listen, green room, please be quiet because she'll spread the word.
We have an audience here today. We have an audience. So if you hear laughing in the background, that's just our audience. They're here live,
it's not the dogs.
joining us.
It's not the dogs.
What?
Well, you said.
I said laughing.
I know, but it's not the dogs.
But I didn't say barking.
Wait, you was talking about dogs and talking to a dog, see if they wanted a blanket. And now you can't.
That was before the show started.
Then you're talking about far-fetched that
you're trying to confuse
laugh?
me. That was before the show started.
Oh, okay. I wish we had the cameras on so that could have been
I know. I believe that dogs can signal what they want with their paws. My dogs, when they want the blanket, they go like that with their paws, and that's like, oh, they want the blanket. Okay. That's how it works.
That's how it works. So if you, yeah, you gotta go like that to pull the blanket.
Oh man!
So what you get for Christmas?
What did I get for Christmas?
I don't know.
I got a beautiful bracelet from my brother. It says sister with a heart, and then
Wait,
got
it says what?
sister.
Oh, sister. Okay.
Sister.
Okay. I got it. I just didn't hear you.
Okay.
You don't have to repeat it 3 or 4 times.
All
I got
right.
you.
I got a small little mustard seed with a nice little phrase from my dad. So I got a nice pendant from my dad.
That's
And
nice.
then I got
That's so nice.
for my friends. I got a hand saw.
What friends?
The Casas, Mauricio Casa and Olga
Oh,
Casa.
those friends. Okay.
I got a ham saw. And then I got perfume. And
Wait, weren't you guys? Wait.
I want my chocolate.
No.
Can you give me my Lindor chocolates, please?
No.
Super mega producer.
No.
It is in the bag on the bureau. That is on the left side of the room. Thank you very much.
Can-
As a matter of fact, it's not left. This is my left. This is my right. My right side of the room.
I thought you guys were doing Secret Santa.
We did Secret Santa.
But how you got like 1,700 gifts? Secret Santa's like one person. I don't understand. You take
Well, it wasn't
take a bowl,
No.
you pick a name, and that's it.
3 names.
No, because each like I had Secret Santa with my brother's family, and my family,
Oh,
my
it sounds-
immediate family.
This sounds like a pyramid scheme already.
And then-
Yo, that's
and
what
then-
it sounds like. It's a
And then
pyramid
we had
scheme.
Secret Santa with the Casas and with the Valley family. So that's how it worked. It was just like Secret Santa.
Yeah, it sounds like freaking. It's a pyramid scheme. I
Secret
can't-
Santa. Baby, can I get my Lindors?
I can't trust you.
I need Simple Mega Producer.
I cannot trust you.
Why can't you trust me? Because you're just hating. Why? Because I got those things for Christmas?
You got a lot of things for Christmas. You were like, okay, let's do one pyramid scheme in this house,
Oh,
another pyramid scheme in the
And
other
my,
house.
my daddy gave me another gift too.
Well, I mean, your
He's
daddy,
so nice.
he's daddy's little girl.
I know.
You're the oldest girl.
Sorry,
so.
Zoe, if you're out there. Yes, I'm daddy's little girl. I am. I am. Daddy's little girl. How come? What happened to the Facebook? We
Oh
can't
my-
see comments.
Oh, I forgot. Can you see anyway? Like, I'm just curious.
Yeah, I can see. I can see
Okay,
clearly.
there you
now.
go. It's
Yeah,
it's
I can
Alex.
see
There you
clearly.
go. It's
Alex is on there. Babe, can I please get my Lindor
Oh.
First of
chocolate?
all, the cameras is on. My name is not Babe. That's why I haven't gotten you anything. I don't know who you're talking to.
Super mega producer.
It's
Can
hard.
you please get her?
It's hard to differentiate.
Whatever. He completely ignored you.
It's in the green room. My chocolate's in the green room.
That's not the green room. That's the red room.
Oh, that's
the
the
green
red
room.
room.
Is over here.
Okay, over here.
Over here for people. Over here.
On
Where
the
you-
right hand side on the bureau in the bag.
That was nice. That was some nice Spanglish.
You know, no. Go. Your mother does this to you.
What?
Vete allá y búscame
Of
eso
course.
que está allí en ese cuarto.
Yeah, because you do that too.
I do it
Ow,
too.
You're horrible right
Go
now.
over there, and go do this, and go do that, and go get this.
Allí,
and go
allí,
get that.
esa cosa, búscamela allí, que
Yes.
estaba allí, ya la puse ayer.
Yes, good job. Lindor, no, Papa. No.
No, sharing
no.
is caring. You
No,
selfish.
I don't trust you with my chocolate.
It's not about trusting, it's about offering.
Because you would take more than one. I will give
Why?
you one.
Wow.
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 One. Just one.
That's all I asked was for
Lindor
one.
chocolate is like the best chocolate ever. Anybody agree?
I don't know.
We don't have anyone talking tonight. Everybody's quiet.
Yes.
Everybody's full and full
Or-
of their Christmas. Your Christmas was busy. Talk to us.
It was a lot of food.
I was gonna say, how was your Christmas?
It was quiet.
Quiet. What did you do?
I was home.
Oh, can I see your socks?
And then
You have socks
I
on
went,
today?
no, I don't have socks.
You don't have socks on today.
These are not socks.
So what are those?
These are the special.
What they're called? Special what?
This is Grogu. That you call Baby
That's
Yoda.
Baby
and
Yoda.
That's not Baby Yoda.
But in any event, what are those called?
I have no fucking idea.
Snuggle my feet.
They make you sweat like a mother.
Ay,
I
fop,
forgot.
ape. Uy, fop, vieja pestoso.
Mm-mm.
Vieja pestoso.
Super mega producer, aren't you sexy?
Those are not so sexy.
They're
You walk
sexy
into
right
a
here.
room, if you walk into a room on Christmas Day with your significant other with those things on, Papa, that's not sexy.
Pick 'em up. Pick 'em up.
Yes, it is. Listen, look. If you can't walk with your significant other and do these type of things,
You can.
then you gotta gotta find someone else. You gotta
No,
be
I think
silly
you
and
can.
silly and stupid with someone.
I mean, it's cute.
I know they're cute.
I like baby Yoda.
No, cute feet with some cute
I don't
socks,
know about your
bro.
feet, Papa. I don't know about your feet.
You know, we're gonna have this ongoing conversation and debate
Oh my
about my
God.
feet.
Anybody else in the audience want a Lindor chocolate?
Of course you want one. Of
My
course.
guess.
Of course.
Super Mega. No, thank you.
Big Rock is in the house. He be staying quiet, but
Who?
Mig Rock.
You need to ask
Mig
him
Rock
if
is in
it's
the
an
house?
intro.
Huh?
Hey, Mig Rock, did you see the intro, baby? I think you need to,
Watch
need
it
to
from the
rewind
beginning.
from the beginning.
Watch it from the
See,
beginning.
this is why I hate Facebook. Facebook has this freaking there's people on here.
I see people on IG, but everybody's quiet.
Yeah. Everybody has they're doing the Al Bundy right now.
Daisy's on, Giselle's on. Happy holidays.
The Al Bundy. You know what the Al Bundy is?
We have Harmonious Healing on.
I'm talking to you.
What?
Do you know what the Al Bundy is?
Yes.
What's the Al Bundy?
When you sit down and you put your
No,
pockets
it's
in
not.
your
It's
feet.
not. No, it's not. It's not both of them. You're not slinging guns in a western.
No, it's like you put
take
your hands in
You
your...
take your right hand and you put
I
it
fall.
right on the right here.
Nasty.
Right here.
I fall. Now smell your hand. Oi. You remember Saturday Night Live? When
I
she
never
used to go
watched
like-
that show. That was
You never watched Saturday Night Live?
I don't know.
The girl used to
Wasn't
come
a
on
big
the show,
fan.
and she used to go like that, and then she'd just be like, "Smell it, smell it, smell it."
You know you could do farts that way. Remember when you
No,
were a
I
little
don't.
kid?
I never did farts like that, Nelson.
You such
I
a
gave
liar.
myself
You're
hickeys.
such a liar.
I gave myself hickeys when I was.
Fairy tales and lies.
Why?
I didn't know there were hickeys. I would just suck on my arm.
Well, why?
I don't know.
Holy crap!
I don't know. I just used to suck on my arm, and I used to make marks on myself. My mother used to smack me all the
That
time.
explains a lot now.
But I didn't know what they were. She should have explained to me that there were hickeys
But
and they were
what
inappropriate.
human beings start sucking on their own?
I was
on
a
themselves?
kid.
Oh, I was a kid too. Well, everybody here was a kid.
You never did anything crazy when you were a kid?
That's not crazy. That's a little bit beyond. That's like abnormal.
Well, wait, I was crazy.
Crazy,
when
I did. I used to jump from one roof to another roof. That's
Wait,
crazy.
okay, so I was crazy when I talked to myself. I'm crazy.
No. Talking to yourself is fine. Even
In the mirror.
Even replying to yourself. Yeah, I
Okay.
say it every morning. Damn, boy, you are some handsome mofo. You know, that's what I do.
Oh, so you still talk to yourself in the mirror
To this day.
To this day? What do you say? What do you say?
I pray. You a sexy mofo, bro. Listen, if you can't be your big...
Wait.
Listen, boo boo.
Yeah, listen, if you can't be your biggest cheerleader, then who is?
Absolutely, I agree. I agree.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Oh my God, I agree. The green room better be getting lit. Oh, here we go with the green
Oh,
room.
boy.
The superstar girl from Saturday. You see, they know who I'm talking about. Saturday Night Live. Yep, she used to sniff her underarms and used to be like, "Smell it, smell it, smell it."
I just never was a SNL fan. Like, after Eddie Murphy left, I was just, it just didn't...
Well, she was around during the time that Eddie
Yeah,
Murphy was
I
around.
don't know who you're talking about, but there's people that were fanatics and watched it every Saturday. Like, it was the go-to instead of...
I think I watched it on Saturdays when I was punished.
Yeah, because it seems like you were never home. Even if you were punished, that didn't stop you from leaving the house anyway.
I would do the escape. Bye. No.
Imagine
No.
if you lived on the first floor. You'd be going out the window with bed sheets, like you were escaping from
I never
Alcatraz.
really escaped from my house. What I used to do is when my mom used to tell me to go out and I had a curfew, I just wouldn't come home at the time I was supposed to.
Why not?
Because I already knew I was going to get my ass beat and get punished. So I was like, might as well stay out the rest of the time.
But my question is, why didn't you abide by your curfew?
Why didn't I abide by
What
my
was your curfew, first of all?
I would always get busy. It depends.
On
Well,
the
what
nights?
time I went out.
What? So if you left at 4,
If I left at 4, I would say like 8.
and if you left at 8,
I never really left at 8. It depends what age you're talking about. It depends.
I'm already tired from this conversation.
Well, it
It's
depends.
just so many depends.
It
Like,
depends. By the time I was 16, I had like a 12 o'clock curfew, I think.
okay. So then, okay, so let's take that
And
base.
then at some point, I never had a curfew.
Yeah, because they got tired.
I don't know if they got tired. I think they just trusted me. Ooh, trust.
Yeah, okay.
Trust.
I think they just got
Our topic
tired.
today is trust. No, I
Tired.
really think they trusted me. So, you know.
Because why not? If your curfew was at 12, you chose not to abide by the 12 o'clock curfew. So there was
I
some
was
process.
having too much fun.
So 12 o'clock is when the fun started. Gotcha.
No. Well, you know, you're engaging and you're having a great time, and it's like everybody's still outside, and then why do I have to go home when it's just getting on and popping?
Bro, like you were a
rebel without
minor.
a cause.
You were
I was
a minor.
I was a rebel without a cause.
You're a minor.
I was a minor.
16 hours. I had to be home by 7:00 dinner.
I used to have a boyfriend.
Horrible.
In college, I had a boyfriend, right? And it was funny because he used to see me. He used to be like, "Why every time you come in on Monday, you look all fucked up?" I said, "Because I went out Friday, Saturday, Sunday."
Wait, so you had you had a boyfriend in college,
Correct.
and when he saw you Monday, which I'm going to
Well,
assume.
he wasn't my boyfriend at the time. He was my friend at the time.
Okay.
And the way he approached me was, "Why is it that every Monday you look like you had a rough weekend?"
Yeah, I bet you did, bro.
And I said, because I would go out Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Well, he must have liked that because he must have liked you were looking like a hot mess on Monday. I'm like, oh shit.
That's how literally he was like, "Yo, every Monday you look really messed up." And I was like, "Yeah, because, hanging hard.
Oh my god.
I used to have friends that used to go to my college when they weren't enrolled in college. They would just come to hang out in the cafeteria.
Wait, what? You want to say the college that you went?
I went to John Jay College of Criminal Justice.
It
CUNY.
It hasn't changed.
It hasn't
It
changed.
changed in 40 years.
No, I don't know. I mean, but yeah. My friends used to come and they used to hang out on Thursdays. They used to wait for me to get out of class and then we would go hang out.
Oh, so you were the party starter.
I wasn't the party starter. They just wanted to hang out.
Mm-hmm.
2 friends, as a matter of fact.
Oh, okay.
They just, I don't know. They wanted to go to college, so they went.
Did they actually go to college or they just went to the structure?
They weren't enrolled.
Oh, okay.
They would just go and hang out and wait for me to get out of class.
But what would they do waiting
Hang
for
out
you?
in the cafeteria.
And do what?
And engage with people.
Oh,
And
okay.
socialize and hang out with my friends that didn't have classes when I was in class.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
Interesting.
Really interesting.
Very interesting.
My college years were great. They were amazing.
Did you graduate?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I graduated after college is when I went during the day. That was the first mistake I did when I started college.
You should have went at night
I absolutely should have went at night.
because.
Because I came from an all-girls high school.
Uh-huh.
And prior to that, I was in a Catholic school.
Mm-hmm.
So...
You're not a lesbian?
No, I'm not a lesbian. I'm not a lesbian.
Okay. Just asking,
No, I'm not. You would know. But in any event, look, I can see someone's laughing. Someone's laughing because they know they're guilty. And they're saying very fun, right? Marisol, she's saying very fun. She's one of the ones
okay.
and then so when I got to college, I went during the day, the first year, and it was like, wow, freedom.
You had no discipline whatsoever.
No control whatsoever. It was a wrap.
So if you would have went to school at night, you would have slept during the day, and then you would have had a little bit more.
No, I would have worked. I would have
worked.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would have worked. I was working. After school. I would go to my day classes. I would go to work.
What? Only Tuesdays and Wednesdays because you.
No, I was working 5 days a week.
Oh.
Yeah, I was working 5 days a week.
Doing what?
I worked in a law firm.
Oh.
I worked in a law firm. I started out as a file clerk when I was 16 years old, in my last year of high school. So I partied and I worked. And I went to school. And I lived. And I loved it. It was the best thing in the world.
Yeah, I never got to do that.
I had a good time. I had a great time.
I never.
Yeah.
I had fun in college.
Did you?
I drank and I played spades.
Oh, I drank in college too.
And played spades.
The same boyfriend, well, now he's my boyfriend. So at one point, my boyfriend was like, "Can I look at
He
your
is your
notes?"
boyfriend now, or
No,
he was back then?
back
He was your
then.
friend before he was
He
your
was a
boyfriend.
friend, then he became my boyfriend. And my boyfriend one day was like, "Can I look at your notes from this class?" I said, "Sure." The night before, it was like super cold outside. So I was with one of my comayas, and we were hanging out. And, she was like, "Yo, it's cold. What can we drink?" Blackberry brandy. Ooh. For the cold. And I still had like a little bit in my bag. I don't know why I had my book bag. So he went into my book bag, and he was like, "What are you doing with alcohol?" And I was like, "Oh, it was cold last night. I had to get warm." Yeah. So yeah, I drank in college too.
That's not drinking.
No, I drank. I drank.
I drank.
There are witnesses out there
I
that
drank-
they know.
I
I would
drank
go to
bet-
the East River
I drank between
with bottles of
between
vodka,
classes.
and we would drink vodka straight up like it was water.
You want to do that now?
Absolutely not. I will be on my ass if I do that now.
I drank so much one day. I started drinking at 8:00 in the morning, rum and coke.
For why?
Just cause.
By yourself?
Yeah, I had left my house. I got a big ass.
Explain.
I got a big ass thermos. I was talking to a couple of friends the day before. Yo, we're gonna. I forgot what the whole concept was of the day. All I know
The whole concept of the day?
of the day. It entailed all
You
I
mean
remember.
your agenda?
It entailed drinking and playing spades and smoking. But I didn't smoke.
Cigarettes?
No.
Weed?
Weed. So I said I can provide the liquor. So I had the liquor.
Where did you get liquor from?
My dad's bar.
Say it again.
My dad's bar.
Mommy, if you're out there, now you know.
So, and I didn't know how to mix drinks, and I wasn't even a drinker. It was just we.
Oh, you weren't even a drinker?
Mm-mm.
You just thought that you had big balls to start drinking?
I was a good boy. I was really a good
Whatever.
boy. I was a good boy. So
I want to know what made you start drinking rum and coke early in the morning if you were not a drinker. Did
'Cause-
you want to fit in?
it was part of the plan. So I said I was.
What part? What part?
We were all. It was. Listen, the liquor was just not for me. It was for everybody else. That's why I bought thermoses.
That was your intent.
Right. So the plan was I'll bring the
Thermoses.
liquor. I had thermoses.
Uh-huh.
It was a long time ago. We didn't have. It's not like we had tumblers and all that shit.
You
I bought
had
a
the
thermos.
thermos with the cafe, and then you
Exactly,
turn it,
yes.
and then the top was actually a
Mhm.
cup.
The red one, yes, that
Okay.
one, the
Oh, wow.
ceramic
oh,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you remember those? Okay.
So I did that, and I just started drinking. I met up with one of my classmates, and she got off the bus, and we walked together. And she started drinking, but she was a weed head, but she smoked, and we ended up not going to class. It was like 10 of us. We didn't
Oh,
end
so
up.
you cut class too?
We cut class
See,
in the
I
school.
drank and went to school.
So
I mean,
no,
I
we
drank
didn't go to
while I
class.
was in
Well,
school.
not that day. We drank. We played spades. I drank probably a little bit too much because I know I got driven home, and I only 10 blocks away was my college from my house, walking,
Wow.
and I was taken home by two friends.
Wow. Oh, were you taken home?
I was
Because you're looking at
I
me
was
and you're giving
literally-
me that look like I was taken.
I was
home.
taken.
Were you
home.
violated? Because it sounds like you were violated.
I only remember bits and pieces of it, but
Okay, did you wake up with your underwears? Your Fruit of the Looms? Did you have the superhero underwears?
when I was like 4, bro. I'm like 18 at this point. I'm 19.
I want Wonder Woman panties
No.
and the t-shirt.
But y'all can do that.
I want it.
I can't be wearing Fruit of.
Why not?
Nah, Fruit of the Looms is not.
Not the
in.
Fruit of the Looms, but like...
I got Star Wars
You
underwear.
guys could... Pause. I don't need to know.
See, I got Star Wars underwear.
All right, so what's the difference between Star Wars and Batman?
And it's not. It's nothing. I
Because
have a lot of superhero and.
I want to get
underwear.
that. I want to get those.
When I do wear underwear.
Oh my
Right?
God.
Yes.
Lord have mercy.
Commando.
Lori, hi. Lori's out there. Lori's out there on Facebook.
Where else is she gonna be if it's not out there?
We have my sister-in-law also. She's out, Mrs. AMCBX. Hi, Mama. How are you? So yeah, college was the best days of my life.
Miss AMCBX is
That's
she?
my sister-in-law.
Oh, okay. She's part of AMC Club, the movies.
I believe that is her congregation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, AMC. I believe that's her congregation where she attends. I'm loving these stories. Alex, you know we got stories, boo-boo. Let me tell you, Alex and I have a huge age gap. Well, not huge age gap, but we have an age gap. Make a long story short.
It's huge, right?
Um,
I don't know what she was trying to
make a
figure
long
out.
story short, Alex, she used to be like, let's go out. And she was just, I call her firecracker for a reason. Because when I tell you that she's just a burst, she's a burst. And here might be a hot ass. And she would be like, let's get in the middle. And it wasn't a mosh pit, but she would get me jumping, to songs and it was just super fun.
She
fun.
liked house and like.
She liked it all. She liked it all.
She just wanted to be like, I'm going in the middle because.
But she brought out like this spirit of me that it was just like, wow. It was just like free.
Or not that she brought out that spirit because what was it dormant after a while and then all of a sudden.
At that time it was dormant. But she and I, we spent a lot of time together, and when we went out.
Okay.
Like we went out. as opposed to let's just go. I mean, we had our moments, but yeah, she gave me a good time
What's
in my
the
life
age
at
gap?
that time.
I'm curious.
I'm 49. I want to say
You're
Alex
49?
Yeah. Ay, no te hagas pendejo.
I thought you were older than me.
No te hagas pendejo. No, whatever. Whatever.
Oh, es la que yo soy más lindo. Por eso. Ay.
Whatever.
Ay.
No, yeah, I want to say Alex is 31, 32.
Hell no.
Yeah, Alex is, I'm not saying she's young, but
No, she can't be that young. She has to be around 30 something, 35.
no.
Not that she looks it, because she looks the same since I could ever remember. She hasn't
Yeah.
changed.
Yeah. Zoe.
The little sis you never had. Wow, somebody's feeling a certain type of way all of a sudden.
No, let's not get into my conversations about Zoe and the little sister I never had, because they used to tell me to take, my mom used to force me to take Zoe to parties all the time. And Zoe was in a party that she should not have been in because she was a minor. And it was my 30th birthday. I remember it clearly. And my best friend threw me a birthday party. And
Wait, you were still babysitting when you were 30?
I was babysitting when I was 30.
And how old was Zoe at that time?
Well, not when I was 30. Actually, I was 25.
Okay, so
So
how
Zoe was 15.
Oh, there's a 10-year difference.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
There's a 10-year difference between Zoe and I. See,
See,
she's 31.
Alex says, damn.
35.
I wish.
Oh, shit.
See?
You're 35,
I told
Alex?
you.
It's that time is flying. Time is flying.
Time is flying.
It's like, to me, she turned 30 the other day, but she's, props to her because she's doing amazing. From that time to now, she's doing amazing.
She looks
I'm
the
super
same.
proud of her. She looks amazing. She's a mommy. She's amazing, and she's doing big things and great things.
I always love her hair.
Yeah.
Her hair.
Her voice.
Her voice.
Her
Yeah.
voice, because she's an amazing singer.
Her voice is sexy.
Yeah, amazing singer. So yeah, we're gonna dig deep. Are we gonna?
Who's the one
dig,
that's a hot mess?
Are we gonna dig in deep right now?
You see, right. You see that, right?
Are we gonna?
Let's go. Let's dig.
Our guest in the audience, no comment.
Whatever guess.
No comment. No, I'm kidding.
She's gonna be 36.
Yes, she's gonna be 36. That's
All
correct.
right.
She's gonna be 36. Lorraine is in the house. We have Life Unplug also in the house. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. We were just talking crap here about our college days and how fun it was, and to go back to those days.
With the knowledge that I have now, the wisdom that I have now, it'd be
No,
a
you know what?
whole lot better.
I would maintain the wisdom that I had now. I would maintain the wisdom that I had then, because it was just live. And remember, at that time, well, not remember, but at that time,
Remember.
my first 2
Remember.
years, remember the first 3 years of college, I partied it up, and then
3 years.
in my last year, I got pregnant. And
Yeah, that's what happens when you party for 3 years. Your chances increase every time, bro.
well,
What do you expect?
I was
You'll be
sweating.
at the craps table. Eventually, you're gonna get snake eyes. It's gonna happen. The house always wins.
That was the guy that said, "Hey, why you look like shit every morning?"
Well, that's
Every
what I
Monday
said. He
morning.
really loved the way you looked on Mondays because shit. Forget about it.
That's what he said. But no, so then, and then after that, once I got pregnant, I had my son. It was all about paying the bills and taking care of my son and making sure he was good. And so, partying stopped for a minute. And then I think once I was 25, 26, living on my own, I partied.
Don't know how to act, bro.
I partied and I enjoyed my life. And
Oh, my early 20s was stuck being married.
you were married in your early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Married and 2 boys.
Wow. Interesting.
I'm grateful that I did get
At
married.
20.
Well, no, was it 20, 21, somewhere
Well,
around
how
there.
long were you dating before?
Not long either. It's like 6 months.
6 months?
6 months.
So you were
She
dating
got-
6 months and she got pregnant. Why you didn't wear a rubber?
I know exactly what happened. It was we had sex in the car
Well, you know what? You had sex in the
in
car.
a white Camry.
Oh, whose white Camry?
Hers, because she had a car.
Was she older than you?
Yes,
By how much?
I'm gonna say 8 years.
What?
Uh huh.
She was 8. She raped your ass.
Yeah, she sure did
Holy crap.
twice. Because I have 2 boys.
Wait a minute.
Wow.
She raped her because of the age thing and you did.
Papa.
Wow.
I was, at least when I raped somebody, I was 31 going on. Not even 31. I was
Bro, you were
29.
driving by high schools and,
I was
and
29.
freshman college students. That's what you were doing.
I was 29. I was 29.
She was out the window with a here's your bobo, here's your bobo, come to mama.
That's not how it happened, Papa. That's not how it happened.
I don't know how it happened.
No, the youngin saw the viejita and he said, viejita, ven acá, mamá.
Oh.
Dame contigo.
Ah,
Dame
okay.
contigo. So that's how that worked out. But no, that's interesting. Yeah, 20. Wow.
Yeah, so
I remember you told me the story.
Yeah.
I just didn't think you were that young.
yeah, I was young.
So you really didn't get to like experience.
Well, I partied.
What do you consider partying? Because 20, yeah, you can't even drink at the age of 20.
I was driving.
I know, but
drinking.
right, but you were doing so.
At 15, 16, 17,
But you weren't
18.
doing so legally. You were doing so on the
That's irrelevant.
It is. It's
I was
relevant.
doing it.
It's relevant
Why is it relevant?
because 21 is the legal age of drinking.
Okay. Did I get caught? No. Everybody
no, but
drank.
what I'm saying is,
I drank
that once
Cisco.
you hit 20,
I drank St. Ides on Hawaiian
man.
Punch.
My man, once you hit 20,
You remember that?
Oh,
Disgusting.
What?
Right now, that's disgusting.
What?
Hawaiian Punch and St. Ides.
Hawaiian punch
And St. Ides.
nasty.
That's all.
Nasty.
It is nasty.
No. Look. So then, listen. So you meet her 6 months later. You're 20 years old, and
I can't say I was 20. I was at least 21 or 22, somewhere around.
and then you get married. So
Well,
your
no,
life
we
is
didn't get
over.
no,
So
we
your
didn't-
life is over.
Well, yeah, my 20s were spent married. I
So
worked.
you-
I worked. I mean, I didn't do what most 20-year-olds do.
Was drinking 18 back then?
No, it was always. What do you mean back then? Like, well, when Jesus Christ was around? What the hell? What does that mean back
In our
then?
age, and
Yes,
I'm
21
talking about like
no.
19
You might be. Isn't
91 to 96.
Googlealo.
94. No, yo no voy a googlear.
Ah, entonces.
I don't recall the legal age of drinking being 18 at that time. I thought it was 21.
I'm gonna look. I'm
You're
looking
Googling
it
it?
up. I'm Googling
Go
it
ahead,
right now.
Google.
Right now. But I
Google.
mean, that it was legal or not, does it really matter?
Well, it matters because remember, once you become legal, that's when you start going into the clubs. I believe 18 was the age to get into
I was
the
in
club.
Limelight. I was in the
I was
Palladium.
Listen, at the age of 16, I had my godmother. My godmother got me on motorcycles.
It's
She got
always
me
been
to the
21.
red zone. It's always been 21.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Other states, it happened effective 1984.
Okay. Effective 1984, the
84.
legal age of drinking
It's 21.
was 21.
So yeah, that's what 84, 89. Well, I wasn't even in high school yet, but I did a lot of between 15 and college. I did a lot, but once I got married, I worked 6 days a week.
Just
and
Peachy
she
said
stayed home.
18 to party, 21 to drink.
Yes.
All right.
18 to party, 15 to party, and
And I do know at
drink
some
when you
point they
drink.
changed 18 to party, 21 to drink. We all went to clubs at 15, 16. Yes, I did.
Who's all?
all
Who the hell is
I guess
all?
you
We
did
all-
it.
we-
I guess you did it.
I went to clubs until I got
I know.
married.
My godmother used to be like, let me hook you up so you could look like you're older than you are. And we used to go to Red Zone, Palladium. Like, she had me all over the place.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun.
I love those times. 10-18s. You remember that? Latin Quarters. All those good clubs.
I did a lot of underground house parties at 2 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning.
Underground?
Yeah.
No, when I was older, I used to go to asylums in New York. It was
I heard of that,
underground.
but before the.
You never been to asylum? You
Yeah.
never went to asylums?
I went to
Sis?
asylums.
You did? I love asylums.
But I like the little.
10, 18.
I love.
I went to Club Broadway at 15. Club Broadway. Just
Oh my
peachy.
God!
The
Club
Octagon.
Broadway.
The Octagon was
yeah.
the shit. That was on the west side, right? The Octagon?
Yes, it was.
It was on the
That's a
west
little bit
side.
later.
Like Chelsea
if,
Piers?
if you're from the Bronx, you go to Herpes Triangle, which
Who?
is in the Bronx. There was a section in Westchester where it was called Herpes Triangle. It was Riddlers, PCs,
Triangle.
and I can't remember the third club, but there were 3 clubs that basically they weren't like on each corner, so that's why they called it like the little triangle. But a lot of people in the Bronx, that's where they went, and then you went to after night parties and stuff.
Do you know why it was known as Herpes Triangle?
Well, I'm assuming. I can't speak from personal experience, but
You can't Google that shit.
No, I can't Google that shit. But I'm assuming, there was a lot of fornication and a lot of
Riddlers.
STDs were being passed around.
Possible. It's possible. It's
So,
possible.
I always liked the city because I always liked, oh wow, white girls. I came from the Bronx.
I don't recall seeing a lot of white girls in the city.
Oh hell
I don't
yeah!
know where you went, but where I went, the majority were Hispanics.
No, I always went to the. That's where we went to a lot of those clubs. 'Cause we had a lot of my friends had a lot of white friends, girls and guys, because they were customers. So
Just
they was
Peachy
like,
said, I don't know if I'm saying this
the
correct.
Rot and Westchester.
The
That
Rot-
was yeah.
the
that
Rot
was,
and
those are
Westchester?
the cross streets.
Okay.
Just Peachy and me went to college together. So
Did you?
yeah. So
Interesting.
she's an old friend.
Did he go to class? Hi Angie, how are you, Mama? Merry Christmas. Did you go to class?
I went to listen. I graduated with a 3.0 GPA
What?
in computer science.
Wow. You're
I'm a nerd.
Smart.
I'm a nerd.
You're so smart.
I'm a nerd. I'm a
You're so
nerd.
smart. All right, so we're ready to get into our topic?
Sure, why not?
All right, trust. We're regaining trust after it has been either
Violated,
taken from you, broken,
lost,
or where you have broken it, where you have lost it. Is it possible to regain trust, whether it's in an intimate relationship or within, a same-sex relationship? And
well, the
my-
most common one is infidelity. That's what most people.
I
But
think
there's different many.
There's lies, there's betrayal, there is dependency, and when I say dependency, what I mean is you trust someone to be dependent on them, and when you're trusting they're going to do certain things, and they give you their word, and all of a sudden they take that back, you lose that trust. In my opinion, trust is created.
CC said, yes, I did. I went to class. See?
All right. Trust is created over time. Trust
yes,
is created over
correct.
time. And it's created over time between your actions and your words. Right? And so you trust somebody's actions, you trust somebody's words. Excuse me, super mega producer. I'm being very rude right now.
Yeah, his face looked like a 5-year-old right now.
Where's the correa? Dame papá. Yo le voy a dar papá. Te voy a dar papá.
I can't.
No, well, trust is created over time, and it's created over time between words and actions. The one thing that I noticed,
And consistency.
consistency, of course.
It's very important that you continue doing your words and your actions, and they're consistently over time. Not that you do it for a little bit of time and then you don't, and then you do and you don't. You have to be consistent in your total behavior.
You do, but with that being said, I also feel that what?
You and your butt all the time. It's like I need to freaking
I'm
get that out of
sorry.
freaking out
It's
your
a butt.
vocabulary.
It's a butt, and the butt that I'm gonna have is that you're saying consistency. It depends on what you're talking about when it comes to consistency, right? Because we all veer to the left. We all veer to the left, and when
At
we
some
veer
point.
to the left,
Can I interrupt you? But
no me toque la bola.
you're missing one. That's all I'm at. That's all I'm pointing out. You're missing a bola. Hello.
No me toque la bola. What happened?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, there it goes. It's on the floor. It fell on the floor.
Your
That's
bo-
okay.
your
It's
bo-
just a bola.
Your ball fell on the floor.
It's just a light.
Okay,
It's
got
just
it.
a bola. It's okay.
Gotcha.
That's all right. But no. In my opinion, trust can be regained. It's easier to regain trust with a friend who has betrayed you, depending on the betrayal, and depending the level of disappointment that you've had. But when it comes to relationships and trust, I think that's the hardest
Because your heart
to
is
regain.
because your heart is vested
To
in it.
regain, but I also believe that what it takes to rebuild trust is two people, an open mind, an open book to a certain extent, because while you're regaining trust, you also have to make sure that you still keep your sense of privacy, right? So in the beginning, and this is my phrase, if you're going to run a truck into a ditch and you're saying to yourself, well, I ran this truck into the ditch, now you need to take it out, figure it out. Don't expect the other person to figure it out. And sorry in my opinion is not enough. And when I say that, it's like when there's been a lie, sorry, okay, it's sorry, but now you have to work hard. So hence the you got to work harder to gain that trust back.
Well, yeah, as long as the person actually acknowledges that what they did was wrong and they violated your trust, and
Absolutely.
then there's something, there's action behind that to show that I acknowledged it, I'm going to correct it, and it's not going to happen again.
And that falls with our conversation, our topic that we had the other day, accountability. You have to be accountable. You can't say, I did not do this, I did not do that. You have to basically put it all out there. And here's the thing, the fun point is when you have the evidence, when you have the proof.
There's fun part?
There's a fun part, yeah, because when you have the proof and the person's, you're like, I got proof. It's here in black and white. You cannot deny it.
Of course you can.
Right? Of course, people will deny it.
Of
They'll make
course.
up. Trust me, I think that we're the humans can make up.
It's a defense
so
mechanism.
many type of
Coño, me pica
scenarios.
todavía.
Tú eres un- yo no sé qué te pasa a ti.
It's a defense mechanism.
No, humans can make up all types of scenarios just to make sure that they don't fall into the trap of admitting when they're wrong. And exactly, that wasn't me, right? It wasn't me. That was an error. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. But once you have all the evidence, give it up. Give it up. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're caught. And all right, what are we going to do with this
Well,
now?
why you're approaching it like if you were a lawyer or a cop? I got the evidence. Give it up. That's how you approach it. But
I've learned that you cannot accuse someone without having a foundation.
No, I understand that. I'm talking about the approach that you're giving. Like, if I was your boyfriend, you coming at me, well, I got the proof. You might as well. I'm like, yo, I'm not. Where are the handcuffs?
Because
Like,
I know what it is.
Gentlemen.
I know what it is to be in a situation where you're being accusatory, right? And you're pointing the finger and you're saying you are doing this, but I have nothing to substantiate that, right? And then what does that cause? A whole other issue.
No, it's tension.
It's an issue, right? Because I'm
But
saying
that's
to
a
myself,
you issue.
it's a me issue, but it's creating an us issue because then this person's like, wait, but I'm telling you that that's not true, but I don't have anything to be like facts.
Okay, so
Right?
Okay,
So-
let me give you this scenario, right? You continually accuse someone, right? Your significant other, various times, nothing, absolutely nothing. Right now, you've built up this animosity, and then he in turn actually does something,
Or she.
does something, because cause and effect, right? We have cause and effect. So all these times, no. Then eventually you're like, you see, I was right. You were actually wrong.
I was wrong at the time,
Right. You were wrong all the time.
but hence my poking resulted in
No, now you're poking. There
It
was
wasn't my
nothing. You poked the bear. What happens is,
right. But wait, but okay, if I'm poking the
But
bear,
no.
and you already know
what he did was no. What he did was
He-
wrong.
she- or
he or
she-
she. I'm sorry. He or she was what they did was
I'm
wrong.
not a lesbian, but I still like women, Papa.
And so, but then you in turn go and say, you see, I was right all the time. I was right all the time. All these months, all these years, I was right. You were actually wrong.
Right.
But
Because at the time, it wasn't occurring.
That person, then you now are saying, see, I was right, but are not going to acknowledge that all the times that you accused he or she led or could have led
But that happens.
to the indiscretion
That
that person did.
That is a true scenario that can actually occur.
I think
And
it happens a lot.
absolutely, because you get so tired of being accused of something that you're
I
not
was
doing.
accused of cheating when I was married.
You were accused of cheating. Now, were you cheating?
No,
You were not.
I was-
Now, why do you think that
My
you
ex-
were being accused of cheating?
I don't know.
Did your actions change? Did your schedule change?
But this was my schedule. My wife stood home. She took care of the kids. We decided it was more money beneficial for her to stay home. Daycare was expensive. So I worked 6 days a week. I worked from 8 to 8. And then on Saturdays, I worked an 8 to 4. Sundays, it was family time because I worked. And this was consistent for a good 3 or 4 years because I had to support. I took care of the financial stress was on me. So she was home with the kids. She developed some type of insecurity. This is why you can't put Spanish people together in one floor or one room. You just can't. There's so much
It's not a
bochinche.
sta- I don't think it's that.
Yeah, it is, bro. We can't mind our own fucking business. Absolutely not.
We have only Lorraine saying that's not an excuse to cheat. I agree.
No,
I
we're
agree
not
that
saying it
poking
was.
the bear
Yeah,
is-
we're not talking about excuses. We're just talking about then the way she would see things, because she's not going to see how she contributed to the situation that actually happened. Not saying that he was right.
Right, but it shouldn't result in
What-
no
what-
matter what the other individual is telling you as far as poking you, right?
What happens when
You're doing
the
this-
phrase? What happens when you poke the bear? Eventually,
The bear wakes up.
The bear wakes up and it kills you.
Right, but how is that a contributing factor to the decision that you made to then go out and cheat?
No.
You feel what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you're gonna cheat because you want to cheat.
Well, I
And because
yes.
you're missing something from your relationship. It's not because someone has been on the other spectrum accusing you that you're cheating.
So I'm gonna give you my male point of view, because I went through something similar to that. So I wasn't. This was consistently my routine. So Sunday's family day. My parents lived 5 minutes away from my cousin. I barely got to see them because if it wasn't work, I was with the family. So, for somehow, some way, she developed some insecurities. We worked together, and I don't know the story, because all I know is started being a pattern. Like on a Friday, we would get into an argument. Oh, this one came to your desk, and I'm like, oh, okay.
I got some talent. I'm sorry, I picked up my light bulb with my toes.
And wow, that's. I like for you to. We need to get that on camera, because you haven't put your leg up that high in a long time, bro. I'm sorry.
You don't know that, right?
I don't know. I'm just assuming, but it's a good assumption. So, whatever transpired in whatever conversation she was having with whoever she was having with, I would get the brunt of it over the weekend. And this happened, I think, into our third year of marriage or something of that nature. And then on Monday, like, my weekend went to shit. And then Monday morning, I would have somebody at my desk talking about, listen, this is not what I told your wife. I told her X, Y, and Z, which is completely different to what she was telling me. But then she also, my ex-wife, would not tell me, because my first thing, who told you this?
Okay, but then the person that approached you and said, "Listen, this is what I told your wife,"
And it was
I
various
had a
people.
conversation with your wife, and this is what I said. Now, did you ever stop and say, "You know what? Hold on, I need to get you with my wife."
But that's what I tried to do. That was like, I would tell her when she was like, who told you this? Hey, why don't we go Monday morning? Or we were friends.
No, I wouldn't even say anything. I would just say, "Hey, we're gonna go out to dinner. Hey, meet me for dinner," and then
Yeah,
boom.
but first of all, I was young, so at that point, I'm like, yo, don't, But I've always been straightforward. I'm like, I wasn't doing anything. I said, who told you? Let's all get together. I want to hear the story between. That never transpired in all the things. And what happened was, she chipped away at me.
But that's putting fault. You're when you just saying chipped, right?
So she
She
chipped.
chipped away, and what it resulted in? What she chipped away, and what happened?
Well, we ended up separating.
No,
did
you end up cheating?
No, I didn't end up
Okay,
cheating.
so then that
But the
scenario doesn't correlate
No, but
to what
the
we're talking
result what doesn't correspond. But the effect of like, she didn't trust me, but had no reason not to trust me, because she knew where I was at all the time. If I wasn't at work, I was at home, and there wasn't anything for her to accuse me of. But that effect of her continually doing that, I could have chosen, because I was tired.
You know that women have, in my opinion, and this is, I'm saying women.
Uh-oh.
And men may have this as well.
Hombres,
But,
escuchen, listen.
It could be, but there's called gut feelings, right? It's called gut feelings.
Okay, and this is how I feel about
this is where I say where you have trust is built on actions and words, right? And there are times when someone changes their way of being,
right,
and their way of being then results in the other person saying, "What's going on here? This person's acting."
But I gave you a situation where I was consistent in regards to my routine.
You don't know that. Your routine of going to work.
I went to work,
but
and
when you went home, did you pay attention to her? Were you intimate with her? Did you do things the way you normally did?
Yeah, we did. We spent the day together. We were her
may
parents.
say yes, but maybe
They were all her plans. If it was for me, Sunday, if it's football, I'm watching football.
Just
watching
so you know,
football. Just to let you know.
Whoever becomes his future wife, you will be watching
I watch football on Sunday.
all day on Sunday. Do not talk to him. Do not look at him.
And-
Just give him some wings, pizza, and nachos, and a
No,
big
nachos.
cup.
Nachos are yours, bro. Like no.
Nachos. You don't like the loaded
But
nachos?
I want. Yeah, one of these.
He wants his red cup and
my red
beer.
cup.
So there you go. There you go.
Wings and football. But
So only Lorraine said all these years later you're still blaming someone else.
no, I wasn't blaming. I'm giving you what the scenario was.
Right, but what we were discussing was
No.
someone poking the bear
Right.
and that bear awakening.
Right.
And we were
So
using
when that bear-
we were using that example in a situation where there is a couple and there's one that's accusing the other of something that
Mm-hmm.
the other is not doing, but eventually because of the accusations over and over and over
Right.
again, that person actually does what they were being accused of.
Right.
But
I'm not saying that.
your
I'm not,
scenario
I'm not
doesn't
saying that.
correlate with that.
I'm not. No, I'm talking about the whole process, not the result. The thing is that he then or she chose then to be infidel to to their partner. But what I'm trying to say is that the person that was accusing all the time when there was no basis to accuse now thinks they have ammunition because I was right all the time. They were wrong all the time. That person contributed to the situation. I'm not saying that it happened. It was wrong.
Only Lorraine's not backing down.
That's
She was like,
fine.
you're blaming.
I'm not blaming. I'm saying it contributes. There's a difference between you contribute to a situation and blaming it. It's not
No,
that
I
it's
agree.
completely.
I agree. I know what you're
So
saying.
I felt such a certain way the last couple of years of my marriage that don't get me wrong. It crossed my mind. You know,
Did you eventually cheat on your wife?
No, I did not.
While you were married?
No.
You remained faithful
Yes.
until your divorce.
Well, once I left, I had to leave the house. We got separated. So
So when you were
I was
separated.
I was told you need to
Okay.
leave. So I left.
But again, you know, I understand that. Now, where there's a situation where you actually, again, because you're saying that I'm in lawyer mode and I need evidence.
It's still your.
not about evidence.
It's your approach that like you
It's
can't
not-
approach him like
it's
I got
not
all this
about
evidence.
evidence.
Yeah, Papa, I got you, boo boo.
You
Come
know,
on, no.
because from my experience, you know, it's better to have something that's going to substantiate what you're saying than not. That's just my experience.
Okay, but that's see.
Right? Because here's what
So
happens.
you won't be like, yeah, you're doing something unless you actually have something to back up what you're saying.
Today, if I feel a suspicion, if I feel
Oh, yeah, because
if
you
I come
said-
across a doubt, if I come onto a situation where I feel something's funky, I now say this doesn't feel right to me,
Okay.
right? And I see that you're not moving the same way, you're acting a little funky. So
Okay.
let's talk about this,
Okay.
right?
But
This is not.
so back then because you were
No,
talking.
back then I used to be like,
You
you
would-
fucking
see,
talking to that bitch
this is the
because
pro-
I'm gonna fuck you up.
Right, so
Explain facts,
you
facts.
said about intuition, so I'm like
Gut feeling,
gut
gut
feeling,
feeling.
intuition, like that's fine and dandy. You got to follow your gut, but you also remember your intuition is I think attached to your heart, and then you have to have a logical presence. You can't just go on intuition alone and make a decision.
But women have.
Oh, of
women
course,
have
women are very
an
emotional
intuition.
creatures.
And I'm
No,
not.
men too. This
So
is-
men have. Okay, so
Yes,
men have intuition.
I know. I get this.
You get this-
tight and this feeling that there's something. But obviously, yeah, with the wisdom and knowledge that I've gained,
Now, do you take that gut feeling and do you do investigative work to see if your gut feeling is correct, or do you just approach? it
I
and
have to
like,
be
"Tell me"?
honest. Yeah, I have done it.
Okay,
I
I
have
have
done
to.
it. I have done it.
I become
Especially if
your
you're-
fucking get.
Especially if your
Motherfucking get it.
if your heart is vested in the person and in the relationship. Yes, I have because
Now, once you do that, what do you? Because that's now invading in that person's privacy.
Is
so
it?
now that, well, when you go into, let's say, if you go into their social media account, you go into their phone, you go into their record logs, that's their privacy, right?
yes.
So then the other person's
I
gonna
can't say
say,
I can't say I haven't looked into
So the other-
someone's
here's-
phone.
here's
or,
what's gonna happen. Here's what happens.
I
right?
used to hack people's stuff.
Here's what happens, right? Here's what happens. So what you end up doing is you end up getting the evidence that you need, right? And you approach the other person, but then now it's flipped on you, right? Because now you went into my shit. I don't trust you. I can't trust you because now you went into my social
But what's the
media.
response
You
to
went
that?
into my phone.
I can't trust you because you were acting sideways, so
Right.
I had to invest because I had a gut feeling.
Right.
And nigga, you got caught.
Right.
No.
Right.
But see, I understand because like I always say, if you make decisions and choices on an emotional basis, they're always gonna get fucked up.
We have a comment here. It says from Benjamin Malave. It says I don't investigate. It always comes out.
That
Always.
also, everything that is in
Listen,
the dark always comes to
there's-
light.
There's nothing that I have known that has not been just bang. Bang.
But the thing, yeah, but
to me, so yes, 100% right. Right. You're absolutely 100% right.
but there's also the phrase, and I'm gonna say in Spanish, si tú buscas vas a encontrar.
Absolutely.
So if you keep digging and digging, you're gonna find things that don't make sense, but your brain is gonna then make that whole novel off this little tidbit because there's no context into it, and then you don't actually ask questions to alleviate those concerns that you have.
right, because you already have the concerns, and then you see something and that looks inappropriate.
Yeah, because they're like, yes,
And
I was
at that
right, damn
point,
it.
At that point, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Suppose you're fucking guilty. That's it. Done. That's it.
Right, but that's
Off
a
with his
that's a
head.
big
Off
problem.
With the head. Off with the head. Now, I'm gonna be honest. You know.
No, lie, please, lie.
In my
She's lying.
in you know, when it comes to trust, especially when it comes to infidelity, right?
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to infidelity, that's hard because you never understand why somebody steps out of whatever relationship you have with them. Very difficult. And
I think both have fault in
Oh.
in some fashion.
I'm not talking about fault because reasons for why things happen, it's hard to explain. Right? I can ask a man or a woman 100 times, why did you do this to me? And that person may not know why. They just did it.
Mm-hmm.
And where you're looking for answers and they don't have answers, that's where the issue comes. The issue comes in like, why did you do it? And the person could tell you, I don't know why I did it. I was either stupid, I was ignorant, or I was lacking sex from you, and I didn't get it from you, so I went and I got it
But
from
that's a
someone
lack
else.
of understanding in that relationship.
I understand. That's a lack of communication.
And understanding.
No, communication.
You can have all the communication you want, but if the other I could talk to you and we're communicating, but if you
Right.
don't understand what I'm saying,
Right.
ain't gonna be no comprehension.
But at the same time,
Super facts.
right. But if I don't understand, again, if I tell you you explain it to me,
Right.
right, and you say, Mia, this is why I did what I did.
That's right.
And I'm like, I don't understand you.
Okay, so
and there's
then-
no other way for you to tell me why you did what you did.
Well, then-
I'm gonna be in that turmoil because I want mother effing answers.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Because the first thing
but
I'm
at
like,
least you're communicating, and okay, you're actually stating, I don't understand, so I need to then try to clarify it or try to say it a different way. But the doors are open at
but
that
I
point.
but as a woman, I'm gonna talk to as a woman. As a woman, the first thing that a woman feels is, in my opinion, is insecurity. We become insecure because it's like you turn to another woman and you turn to this other woman in a physical
Allegedly.
way.
Well, you're
when
talking
it's
about
brought out, when it's brought out.
You're talking about you got the facts.
When it's brought out,
Okay.
right? When it's brought out and it's there, it's on the table, and the other person has been like, yes, this is what I did. You know, I did it. I was unfaithful. Okay, here it goes. Tell me why you were unfaithful. I don't know. Well, I want answers, right? And it's like, I forgive you. Let's move on. But then 2 weeks later, something pops up and triggers, because they're triggers.
There's triggers.
Triggers
I know
are
there's
triggers.
triggers. And sometimes,
that's
and
one
a
of
lot
the
of
things.
and a lot of times triggers are not because of that relationship.
Correct.
Triggers come from past
Correct.
experiences.
Correct.
And I'm a big proponent of letting things go. It's easier said than done, but you can't allow your past experiences, especially bad experiences, you learn from them and you move on and you grow, but you can't continue the same reaction or behavior from in your present that you did in your past, because you see how you ended up in that situation. You're going to end up in the same way. There's got to be some type of change. So.
But when it comes to regaining trust, and once it's lost, whether it's infidelity, lies, deceit, betrayal, again, there's different levels.
So now violating someone's trust comes in different degrees. It doesn't have to be infidelity. Infidelity obviously is the most major one that gets all the glitz and glamour. But there's many ways.
Yeah, there's lies.
You know,
There's stealing.
people that feel, you know, you violated my trust. You know, oh, as stupid as, oh, wait, I don't talk to her or him. Why are you talking to him? You're friends on Facebook. Oh, I don't trust you. You know, that type of stupidity.
Mm-hmm.
So there's different degrees of it. Does the degree of the violation of trust go into play when it becomes the issue of the process of regaining someone's trust? You understand what I'm saying?
Please rephrase that question.
So, depending on the discretion that violated.
You mean depending on the scenario?
Oh yeah, whatever
that
it is.
That results in the lack of trust.
Whatever person did, and they violated that person's trust. Now, does it depend on what was done?
No.
For a person to regain? So,
No.
would it be the same if someone cheated and the other person lied that they went to work and they went drinking and it's the same level?
I don't think, when I say that there's different scenarios that results in lack of trust. But I think it's across the board, because once you lose trust, you lose trust.
Yeah, but if I went drinking, right, and I told you I went to work, and you found out, right? I went drinking. Now,
wait, you're supposed to be at work and you went drinking.
I went drinking. I went drinking, right?
Let's get that right.
Right. I went to work. I told you I was going to work, and I ended up drinking.
You
right?
went out drinking.
I went to the bar, right? So and I lied to you about it. You found out about it, or I said I was going to work, and actually I was going to my side piece's house.
Mm-hmm.
Now, would I be able to regain your trust equally in those both scenarios?
It depends.
On?
Well, number one, I would want to know, why would you lie to me about something so minimal about going to go drink as opposed to work?
But could you forgive me much easier because of that than in the indiscretion?
I would still be angry. I would
No,
still
no,
be
no.
hurt.
Would
but
it be
I
easier?
would not trust you. So every time you could tell me you're going to be at work, I may just do the psycho shit and call you, FaceTime you and be like, you at work?
So, okay.
That's what that's going to cause.
All right, it's fine.
Right? That's what's going to
But
cause
okay,
that.
but
I will stay with you.
regaining the
No,
trust.
I will stay with you.
It'd be
right?
easier to stay with me and build that trust up again.
I didn't say it was easy.
Okay.
It's still hard. You still got to take that card.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Because now you created a cycle.
Uh-huh.
Okay? I'm going to be honest with you. Now you created a cycle, because now I'm going to be like, what is he going to do?
Maybe
every time he says he's going to go to work? Is he going to go to work, or is he going to go drink?
I might have a problem.
If you ever do that, you're an ass. I'm going to tell you right now. Make sure you go to work, because at the end of the day, you're just having a drink. No, but facts. If you're going to come and you're going to tell me, I lied to you about going to work and I drank. I went out to drink with my boys. I'm going to be upset, but I'm going to want to know, why the fuck you lie?
Mm-hmm.
Why not just tell me you're going out with your boys drinking? Why? Because you thought I was going to say no? You thought I was going to get angry?
You don't like my boys. You don't like me when I'm drinking.
It doesn't matter. Just tell me I'm going to go drink. I'm going to go drink.
Uh-huh.
All right, cool. Right? But
maybe I don't want to see your face. Every time I say I'm going to go drinking, you give me a face. You're always giving me side eye. You're always sucking your teeth. Like, there you go again. You don't know how to act.
Correct, right.
Maybe I don't want to hear that shit.
And that's facts. That's fine. However, you now have fucked it up, because now you've lied.
Okay.
So now I'm going to be a psycho.
Okay.
And now I'm going to call you.
All right.
And I'm going to make sure you're at work.
Right.
And I'm going to be like, let's go have lunch. And, I'm going to
So
do
the
things.
discretion doesn't matter.
No, because you're going to it's called trust. My security with you has now been broken.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right? So in that instance, that's how I would react. In the instance where, again,
we have women in the
we have a lot of women in the audience.
I like to what would it be easier to
Angie
regain
said,
someone's...
if they lie about the minimal, they'll lie about everything else. Just saying. I agree, but I have to disagree.
The scenario is, would it be easier to regain someone's trust if they just lied because they went to work and it was drinking, or because they cheated?
Because
which
remember,
one would be easier, if there is such thing as easier?
Even the most minimal lie, such as we have Carlos Zapata Jr. He said, I get good feelings, but I usually don't act on them. Okay. Well, I mean, that's good. So he's a man, and he says he gets gut feelings and he doesn't act on them.
Okay.
Well, here's my thing. It could be as minimal as us women, and I know a lot of women that do this. I went out and I spent $200 on some shit that I shouldn't have spent. and I'm not telling my husband. I'm just saying either somebody gave it to me or somebody gave me a check. Or
Okay.
whatever. That's a lie.
Okay,
Right?
I get
That's
that.
a lie. Now, when my husband finds out about that lie, right? So what? So now my husband's gonna say you're always going to lie.
No.
Right. So that's what Angie said. It said if they lie about the most minimal, they'll lie about everything
No,
else.
it's just the,
Right,
the
but you
situation.
can't-
You
right.
were like, oh shit, I just bought a purse last week. I bought another purse this week and a pair of boots.
Listen, I'd be
I
like,
get
papi,
it.
cógeme el bolso para que Ben crea que eso es tuyo y no
Yeah,
es mío,
I
you
get
know?
that. But that's what
Um,
I'm saying. The severity of the indiscretion, I think, leads to how much easier it is to
It would
begin-
still, it would be,
It takes work. I understand that, but I just think it'd be much easier. Like if you tell, like I flip it and you tell me I went to drink, I'm like, and you lied to me about that. I'm like, really? Are you? I'd be angry, but I don't think I would.
you
I'm
would
not
want-
gonna say I don't trust you. I'm like, obviously,
Really?
I just wouldn't. Something like that,
Stop
no.
it.
That's just
Stop
me.
it.
I just wouldn't. Now, if you continually do that, there's either you're an alcoholic, you have a problem, and we need to do an we need to.
I just want one drink.
No, yeah, okay, intervention, or if you're at the bar and you're freaking dancing on the bar top and flinging your bra, then that's an escalation of that. But you stepping out of the relationship with someone else, it's gonna way much harder for me to regain that trust than you skipping out work for a couple of beers, because the indiscretion is so severe. It's
What? But I don't. My thing is, when you lose trust, you lose security.
I understand that.
So with that,
But
with that
it's-
comes. It all depends what
It's
you
not going
want.
to take me 2 years to gain that trust because you lied one time for going to drinking with the fellas and you
No,
missed out
but
work.
you're-
But
but-
you cheating on me is going to take a very long time to regain
What
that
I'm
trust.
saying is, your security is no longer secured, right? So as time
Right.
goes on, what you're going to rebuild is your security.
Right, but it's going to
So
take me a
there's
lot
there's
faster to
difference.
rebuild from an indiscretion of you lying going to work than you cheating on me.
No, but you're going to drive yourself crazy.
No, you're not. No.
You may not, but I know I myself, if
There's
like,
no way that your level of, let's say, anxiety is going to be the same
not- it's
because he lied to you because he went out drinking with the fellas or he cheated on you. The cheating part is going to drive you nuts for a very long time.
Same thing.
It's
same,
not that it's not.
Same with the lies.
I don't.
Same with the
I-
lies.
I
Because
think-
again, in order to rebuild trust, you got to take that car out
I
the
understand.
ditch.
I understand. You got
gotta
to.
keep-
Yeah,
you-
but
and you gotta
but
be an
that
open book.
But that truck. That I'm gonna tell you the difference. Okay, you drove this truck into the ditch. You lied about going to work and you went drinking. That's a little Tonka truck. You cheated on me. You got a freaking 10-ton crane in that ditch. So.
But
Which
it's
is easier to
still work. It's
Yeah, I
still
understand,
work.
but which one is going to be easier to take out, the Tonka trunk or that 10-inch crane?
The 10
That's right. And it's going to take a lot of time. And that's what I'm trying to convey, that the indiscretion leads to the time period or the effort that it's going to take to regain that trust. Both of them violate trust issues, obviously. But which can you get over much easier and much faster to then move on with the relationship?
It depends on the person.
Well, that as well.
It depends on the
But
person.
I'm sorry.
It
it's-
depends what you want with the person, because there's some people that you can lie to them and they'll just say, you know what, they lied to me once, I'm gonna move on.
Okay, so
I'm not gonna dwell on it.
Our
There are
parents,
people.
our parents and those generations, they went through thick and thin no matter what. They could have been mad for a year or whatever, but they did not leave each other's sides. Those generations, they don't exist. That's really, really ride or die.
Well, in my opinion, now that you brought up, our parents and at their time frame, I just think that it's so much easier now for people to just walk away. All right, and there
well,
are
everybody.
there are
That's the
everybody's
problem. We
di-
look everything that's easy.
The thing is that there are people that when they take a marriage or a relationship and they really invest in it, and the trust is broken, there are people that are willing to work through that trust.
Zoe says double standards. Shouldn't have to lie about how you spend your money. See, but when you're in a relationship like a marriage, it's not. You can't think about it's my money and your money.
not
It's
about
our
lying.
money. It's about our money, but it's just remember because your spending habits when you're in a relationship affect the relationship. If you have a problem with shopping on Amazon every single day, it's going to affect your marriage. It's going to affect your relationship.
We have from Only Lorraine, if you get away with a small lie, it's so much easier to lie about something bigger. I agree. Alexandria Music said, I think when lies happen, it's more of disappointment. Like, I thought I meant more to you. I thought you knew me better. Angie Vasquez 5050 said the topic at hand is trust rebuild, and if I got broken with lies, guess what? Even a simple white lie is going to take us back to square one. Correct. Connie 416 said if the trust was previously broken followed by yet another incident, then that's a different story than a lie. I will say in response to Connie that what happens is there's a thing called event. You lie once, it's an event. You lie more than once, it's a pattern.
Right.
And that's where the distinguishing part comes in when you have someone who's consistently doing the same thing over and over and over. It's a pattern, right? And they're going to get away with what they can get away with because the other person may not. They may just say, okay, you lied once, it's okay, I forgive you. You lied twice, okay, I forgive you. So, first couple of times is like, shame on you. But after a while, it's like, shame on me.
I'm sorry, let's be honest. We all lie, even in relationships. We all lie. We all, as they call it, the little white lies. We all lie for. Look at your scenario. I'm not telling my husband I bought a $300 purse.
There's lies to our employer, our employers. We lie to our parents.
But your intent when you lied saying that I bought a $300 purse wasn't malicious. You know what I'm saying? You were just scared to death that he's gonna scream on you. I'm like, you just bought 3 pair of boots the week before. You have a problem. But see, I always say when your actions say a lot by the intent that you have behind them. Your intent wasn't to be malicious or to be actually deceiving. It was more of a funny banter because the relationship that you got. I'm like, and shit, damn, I spent $600 in a week.
Here we have Only Lorraine. She said every lie breaks trust, chips away at it, no matter big or small. It just keeps chipping. Exactly. So Connie agreed exactly. First time is okay. Second time, shame on me. Not even the second time. I would say just after a few times.
See, but this is the thing.
In my opinion,
I understand, but everybody lies. Everybody, let me tell you something, everybody lies pretty much on an everyday basis. We try not to. But we all lie. Let's be honest. I mean, I understand where they're coming from and they're females, but you got to understand everybody lies. They for some reason or another or whatever perception a person has or their viewpoint, they lie.
Yeah.
The problem is when your lies are meant
to hurt someone.
Not
even meant to hurt someone. When your lies or your actions or your decisions affect someone else.
Right. And they're affecting them in a very negative way, then that's where the lie then becomes just in magnitude even more.
Alexandra Music said that's different levels of lies.
Honestly, there's different levels of lies. There really is.
Oh, okay. So,
but you can't say. I'm sorry. No one can say that if they tell you they went to work and they went to hang out with their buddies or whatever that scenario is, you're gonna say, "Oh, you broke my trust. It's gonna take 6 months." No, that's not. That's bullshit.
Well, because
let's be honest.
You have to understand when
now
someone
if you don't,
mother effer, I'm talking.
No, I was talking first.
Mother effer,
relax.
I let you breathe.
No, you didn't.
Repito,
I haven't even finished my. I got passionate. You say I was married.
You're married.
I'm married. Mary Martinez.
Mary Martinez.
But if you feel a certain way, he or she feels a certain way, like really violated for something as this is the first time that, I went and hung out with my boys or my girls, I didn't go to work, and you feel a certain way just because of that discretion, there's more to it than just that one event. There's got to be something. Then that could be a trigger.
But you have to ask yourself, why did this person lie to me about something so small?
Exactly.
Why did this person hide something to me? And normally, yes, there's a reason behind it.
But what if you go batshit crazy because of that? And this is the first time this happened. But then that's a trigger because something happened.
I'm going to tell you why. And then
tell me why. Nesto's in the house.
So here's what we have. What we have is what Green Eyes just said. She said we have different tolerance levels. Some might put up with things longer than others, and I agree.
That's
There,
correct.
you know, there's people that, again, I can,
There's some
like you
stuff
said,
that- some
you
stuff that
lie to
don't bother me.
You lied to me about going to work, and you went to the bar. You'll see that as, all right, it's not that big of a deal, and it is what it is,
Mm-hmm.
right? I see that a different way, because I'm seeing that as, why did you have to lie to me? Why? I felt so secure. I never had a doubt. I never questioned. So now I'm questioning. So now I'm doubting. Now,
Yeah, because every
now
time
I'm
I
feeling
ask you, I
weary.
want to hang out with my boys, you put a face, so I just don't go anywhere.
If I put,
Hey!
it depends why I put a
I
face.
don't go- I don't
Ask
go-
me why I put a face.
No,
Ask me why I put a face.
I don't know why you put a face, because
it could be-
every single time I
it
go, I
could
want to
be-
go out with my boys.
Right,
You tell me
first-
no, it's family time. I thought we were gonna watch a movie. No, you gotta fold the laundry. You know, I'm like, what
All
the
right.
hell? I don't want to hear that.
Okay, so let's just get back. Into
That's why I
trust.
stay home.
I know from my experience, you know, both my husband and I, we have, and this is unjusting. We've both been unfaithful in our marriage. January 2nd, we will be making 18 years, God willing, of marriage. Of those 18 years of marriage, the first, I want to say, maybe 7 or 8 years were horrendous. And it was a multitude of reasons. And it was not only infidelity, but it was also him being overseas and
That's stressful,
and just an abundance amount of things.
But you're here.
And here's the thing.
But
the,
you're
the
here.
stepping out occurred. The stepping out occurred, and trust was completely out the door. There was no trust. There was no communication. There was insecurity up the ass. And it became very tense. It became very tense, and we then were separated for 2 years, living separate and apart. And
That's what separate means.
we were separated for 2 years. There's people that are separated,
Oh, and
still
live in
living
the same
house.
house.
Yes, so we were actually living separate and apart. And here's where I believe that trust can be rebuilt. What you do during that separation is very important, because you have a choice, and that choice, and this is if you both are agreeing to separate. Now, you know, in my relationship, in my marriage, we didn't know what the hell we were doing.
Neither did I.
After 2 years,
Neither did I.
you
And
know,
actually, when you said that,
in other words, there were unspoken words. We never said we're separating, and at some point
Right.
we're gonna get back together. We never said we were gonna
with
divorce.
my ex-wife, actually, when the whole situation and it just came to a boil, I said, I think we need some space.
Right.
I never insisted on actually dissolving the marriage. She initiated it, and first it went from separation to here's papers. I'm like, ay, coño.
Well, because some people don't believe in separation. Some people, it's either we're gonna do this or we're not gonna do this. Some people
I
opt
wanted
for,
to do
some
it.
people opt for, let's do this with therapy, right? And if therapy doesn't work, then let's move on to the next thing. Let's move on until they.
Well, you
decide
got to
what
try
they
to
wanna
find
do.
if you really want
I
to.
mean, I know couples that
that
were separated for 10 years, and after 10 years, they've rekindled. And I'm talking about being separate and apart. So, you know, it depends what you're doing during that separation time.
I don't want that to happen.
What?
To be 10 years later, if it rekindled out. That's not happening.
Hey, you never know. You never know.
Negative.
You never know. But you know, it just happens. And you know, during that time, you know, it was a tough time. It was a very difficult. You know, I saw myself in the at the bottom of the barrel, like they say, and I took that time and I said, this is the time for me to do what I've always wanted to do, and that was. When I finished law school,
I had a joke, but I'm not gonna
when I
say
finished college, I wanted to go on to law school, but because you know, at the time I was a single mother, I was, you know, in my apartment by myself,
But
working.
your things work. Your universe just went into place.
Well, what I decided to do was, it's now me time, right? And when I said me time, I said I've always wanted to go to law school, and for years I put it aside, and I started working on that goal. You know, with the help of the support I had and the people that were like, go do it. And that's what I build. Now, I can't speak for whatever he was doing during that period of time because I wasn't with him. I could only speak on my part. And I took that opportunity to look at myself. And I took that opportunity to develop myself and to change myself.
Love yourself again.
Because at the end of the day, there's one thing that I know that I absolutely did during the time that I was with him, and that's that I lost who I was completely. And when you lose yourself to another person, that's hard. That's super tough.
You feel lost.
Because you feel like you can't breathe without this person. You can't live without this person. And you're asking yourself, how can I keep this person in my life so I can survive? And that to me was the most difficult thing that I felt like I could not survive without this person. So I did it. And it was hard. And it was a financial struggle, but I did it. And I have to thank God because here it is 8 years later. And I moved to Florida. And I remember the day that I was with my homegirl, Lorraine. And Lorraine, we were just getting together. And she said to me, reach out to him and let him know you're moving to Florida. And I said, are you fucking crazy? I'm going to chase my dream. I can't deal with that drama. But I'm done. We were living separate apart. We're done. I'm done. He's my daughter's father, and I'm done. But I did that. And the first thing he said to me was, I'm going with you. And I still said no. I was like, I still said no. I'm like, you can't. And I didn't trust him. I didn't trust him at all.
Oh, you guys didn't trust each other.
I don't know about him, but I know I did. I know.
Well, 2 years apart, there had to
I
have
didn't
been
trust
mistrust
him
on both
at all. And I did one thing. I put it all in God's hands. I did that. I put it all in God's hands, and I said, God, if it's meant to be, then you're gonna make it happen. I spoke to my parents because, of course, while many of us don't want our parents' opinions, I had to get my parents' opinion. And they gave me their blessing. And I remember I had my 41st birthday party, and I walk in with him hand in hand. And everybody's neck, I think, broke 100 pieces.
Not mine.
Because there was only one person besides you, a couple of people who not really everybody knew what was going on. So when they saw me with him, it was like, what the fuck is going on? Mm-hmm. And even at that time, we weren't really solidified.
No, but you were just taking the steps forward.
We weren't solidified. It wasn't like because it was agreed we're gonna go back, but you were gonna go to Florida, we're gonna move, but I'm gonna help you with the nena while you go to school. All right, cool. I can't tell you how we rebuild trust. What I do know and what I can tell you is that it's possible.
It's work. It's
hard.
But if
it's a sacrifice.
But if your why is really important to you,
it's about becoming an open book. It's about having the most difficult topics. It's about being able to communicate your insecurities, and that other person hopefully being open to listen to your insecurities and to guide you through your insecurities and to understand I'm not reacting this way because I can't live without you or because I'm scared. I'm telling you what I feel now. So and one of the things that we both stopped doing is we both stopped with the you and we focused on the I. So anytime we communicate with one another right now, it's the I. And I feel this way. I need this, and it's
the I helps the us.
And it's an open book. And when I mean an open book, no, people, I'm not saying let's be in each other's phones. I'm not saying let's be in each other's freaking social media accounts because that's not trust. That's not trust.
Absolutely not.
That is not trust. You will drive yourself insane.
That's insecurity.
You will drive yourself insane, and I did that for some time during the course of my marriage with with the whole infidelity, and I was like, you can't be with somebody that you don't trust. No matter what, you can't. It's not going to work. You either have to determine, am I going to work through this and rebuild your own security? Right? Because while the other person's helping you build your security, you have to build your own insecurity. And you always have to remind yourself that other people's actions, yes, are sometimes a reaction to your actions, but you also have to ask yourself, I know I need to do something in order to make that person feel secure. So when I ask questions now, they're not in a form of an accusation, right? I ask questions, but I start with the listen. this doesn't seem right to me. This appears different to me.
Is there something going on?
Is there something that you need to talk to me about? You know, I've even gone to the point where, listen, are you being entertained by someone else? Let me know, because now this is life. Now this is life, and at the end of the day, shit happens, and that's the hard part about when shit happens. When shit happens, we're all like surprised. You know what? I'm not the first woman that stepped out of anything. He's not the first man that walked out of anything. The shit happens. Now,
are you willing to regain whatever it is?
It's about what you're willing to do. I don't know if he and I were willing to do it. All I know is that we got to a point where I know I grew. I know he grew. And the last 8 years, they haven't been perfect. Right? They haven't been perfect.
There is no such thing as.
But they've been absolutely 100% much better than they were
in the first
10 years.
Yes, obviously.
You know, and again, if it calls back to words and actions, right? Words and actions, and that's how I know I was able to regain my trust.
Well, you became secure with yourself,
and I became secure with myself.
You fell in love with yourself again,
yeah.
And then, but you can't love someone or trust someone or be secure with someone if you don't feel that way in yourself.
Absolutely,
and
absolutely.
that's that, and a lot of people don't actually acknowledge that part, and that's a real major part in regaining trust. You have to trust yourself. You have to love yourself. You have to be secure within yourself before you're actually get involved with someone and actually even try to repair something.
Yeah.
You know.
And it's hard. It's the most hardest thing that I've had to go through.
If everybody, like we said before, everybody goes through the easy route. It's easy to walk away from things.
Well,
because nobody wants to work at anything anymore. It's easy to walk away.
It's easy to accuse. It's
easy to blame.
It's easy to want someone else to do what you want to do, but it's so hard for you to do what you need to do for you.
Right.
You know, and the structure of getting things not to where they were before, because that's a key issue also.
It's never going to be the same way.
You're not going back to where you were before.
No, it's a new
because
beginning.
obviously where you were before wasn't working. So you're rebuilding, but so what you're rebuilding is everything from scratch again.
It's a new us.
Okay, it's everything from scratch, and it's about a building block. You're building up this structure, right? You're building
your foundation has to be done all over again.
Exactly. You know, and a lot of people say it's not like before. It's never going to be like before. And that even if your marriage is good, you are growing. We grow every day.
Relationships relationships should grow and should always get better.
Yeah.
That's how we would hope to be.
They can get better. They can get better. You know,
I know people that have broken up because of indiscretions, and later on they've gone back together and actually are even much happier than they were when they first got together.
And the thing is initially when you find out that when you find out that there's been this trust broken, you go through the stages, and I call them the stages of grieving, right? At first you're hurt. Then you're angry, and then you're in shock, and then you come to terms with it. But when you're angry, you're gonna say what? Let me tell you, I got a bad tongue, and I'm like, and my tongue is like a dagger.
But not even a tongue.
I'm gonna say everything, and I'm gonna do everything.
Understand that stage is so critical because decision and choices are made on that emotion of anger.
Right.
You know, I've been told, you don't really get angry. I'm like, angry doesn't. It only fits me well when I'm playing sports. But besides that, in everyday life, I think anger is a detriment to oneself.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's just like you can't make choices on emotions, especially emotions like jealousy and anger and hate. That's just all negative stuff, and what's going to come out of it is negative things. Mm-hmm. So
you know, and here's the truth, and this is for both men and women.
He or she's.
We have a tendency to say to ourselves, I will never forgive this person. I will never get through this. can't forgive this person. I'm never going to trust them. Don't ever say never or ever. Work with your feelings. Feel what you feel.
Forgiving someone is actually not forgiving them. It's not for them. It's for yourself.
And the truth is, fuck what everybody says.
Oh,
fuck what everybody says. If you are in a position where you're willing to work through your marriage or your relationship with whomever you have it with, whether it's your mom, your dad, your father, whoever, I don't care, any relationship, if you want to work through it and you approach that person and that person's willing to work through also that relationship and rebuild, the trust and the security, go for it. Go for it. Now, you can't do it alone.
You can't do it half-ass either. You
can't do it half-ass.
You can't have one foot in the door and the other one, because this is also another scenario. It's okay, let's work on it. And the moment there's a trigger on either end, all of a sudden the card comes out.
And triggers,
you can't do that because you're going to have triggers.
Triggers are a mother effer. Straight up. Triggers are the worst.
I hate that.
And when you have a trigger, you want to react, and you're like, oh my god. And I know it. Your anxiety's on high, and you're like, oh my god. Take that moment, relax. Digest it all in, and try to come up with
just take a
the
moment.
way that you're going to approach this, because the way you approach it is the way that it's going to then hopefully resolve itself in the best way possible for you.
Don't say that you're going to start over and not be genuine about it. And I think that's what a lot of people do, men and females, in a lot of relationships. It doesn't even have to be in a intimate relationship, where I say, okay, let's start over. A couple of months down the line, something happens and the same behavior then reoccurs, or the reaction reoccurs, then you're really not going in 100%. It really isn't. You have to, if you're going to say you're going to start over, that means you leave everything on the table. Everything is said that needs to be said. Okay, this is how we're going to do it moving forward. And if you get a trigger, if you get something, an intuition or a feeling, you got to have the discipline to not react to that situation. You need to understand that it's a process. It does not happen instantaneously. It takes time. It might take months, it might take years, but it is a process. And if you do not allow the process to continue or go forward, you're going to fail. And that's in everything. There is a process to everything. Life is a process.
And another thing, when you see change occurring within the process of rebuilding the relationship, the trust, acknowledge it and say, thank you. I see that, you're working towards this, and you're expressing yourself more, and you're doing this more, and acknowledge it, because sometimes we don't do that. We take it for granted.
I think that's very important, and that's a life hack, because you say you're going to start over, and then you go through the process. But if the understanding and communication do not go in through the process, like, everybody likes to get praised. Damn, that you did a good job, babe. Or, oh, that's awesome, you got a promotion. Like, if we don't affirm through the process each other, and that's how you build it. You just can't say, okay, we're going to start and just live your lives. No, you have to understand, okay, what went wrong? Okay, we got to communicate more. And yes, definitely praising each other is very important to building that security and that self-esteem.
And don't be afraid to ask what you want. I was one that I swore.
I love it when you tell me I'm like the greatest friend you've ever had. I love it. I get this glow in me. I'm like, what? Yeah, baby.
No, don't be afraid to ask for what you want. In my relationship, I really swore my husband could read my mind 24 hours, 7 days a week.
A lot of women tend to do that.
And I would get mad when I was like...
Men have to be Jedis because we have to read minds.
I would get mad. Like, for example,
just like you know how to talk to dogs.
What?
Just like what the dogs, you like to talk to dogs. The dogs have conversations. See? Mind reading.
You lost me. But in any event... one of the things that I recall was I used to get upset when it came to holidays and birthdays, because he never knew what to get me, right? And I used to give him hints throughout the year or whatever, right? And I used to get upset. And that, of course, would cause an argument, and that would result in
instead of being straightforward.
So I changed it up, right? I said, what can I do different? And I said, you know what? I'm now going to tell him what I want. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
Please
and I'm
and
not going
thank
to
you.
give hints. And no, I want this. And I understand, especially as women, we like surprises, right? And I'm one that I love surprising people. I love to do unexpected things for people. That's me. Can I expect the same thing back from everybody else? No. And I had to learn that, within my growth spurt, I had to learn that. Just because you're this way doesn't mean that everyone
everybody
else
has
is
to
going
be
to be
that
the
way.
same way.
Obviously, no.
So, he would come with flowers, and I'm like, mother effer, I don't like flowers.
You hate
Why
flowers.
are you wasting $50 on flowers?
I-
You should die. Like,
I-
don't give me flowers.
I don't think I've met another woman that does not like flowers.
I don't like
I can't
flowers.
recall.
I don't like flowers. They die. You spend a lot of money on them. They die.
But you spend any gift, you're gonna
And if
spend
you're
some
gonna
money.
if you're gonna get me flowers, just get me some
you
$5 flowers.
You
I
want
don't
that
care.
$300 purse, though, right?
No, boo. Not even, because I'm not even like that. But at the end of the day, again, express what you want.
So $300 purse. And,
If you want to have sex every night, I want to have sex every night.
yes,
But express it. Talk about it. Don't be afraid. Don't.
just take it. Just take it.
Yeah, there are a lot of hard conversations. When you have a friend, I have Nelson. Nelson's my friend, and you're my ace. Let's take that back. You're my ace.
Thank you.
And
I appreciate the
I'm
acknowledgement.
honest. I'm as honest. There's times that he's calling me around the clock trying to talk to me, and I'm like, Papa, I can't be here for you right now because I'm all fucked up. Right? I'm all fucked up. I could just be like, decline. There are times that I decline you, and I don't say anything.
You literally ignored me for days or a week. What are you talking about? You just fell off the face of the earth at some point.
Right.
But I understand. I mean, I gave you a space, and I understand you. So,
But I'm not gonna lie to you, and I'm not gonna tell you, oh, I was busy.
oh no, when I finally spoke to you, you explained,
Right.
how you were feeling, and I kind of gathered that, and okay, I understand. I got you.
and I have had I have had relationships, friendships that have we've gone our separate ways, and I'm talking about close relationships, and
I got someone that says waste of. I'm with you on the flowers. They're a waste of money.
They
but
are.
is it really a waste of money? Because
I know that it's the thought that
you're
counts.
fixating on the monetary value and the item that it is, but because the actual effort of I want to get a dozen red roses. Or I want
love
yellow
you
roses.
all. I love you all, and this is all about transparency. So at the end of the day, how is it that you're going to understand how I know about regaining trust if I am not transparent and I don't share my own personal situation to show the audience or let the audience hear that it is possible, in my experience, in my opinion, to rebuild trust.
Yeah, I agree with
But
you.
it's hard. It's a hard process to go through, and it's the process of being an open book, undressing yourself completely, and understanding that when certain things occur while you're rebuilding that trust, it's not because you want to start up or go back to the past. It's because you're trying to solidify that security.
I
again.
think that's the hardest
And
part is that process.
A lot of people, sometimes I'm approached, people that come visit, and they're like, yo, he's on his phone all the time. Yo, does he take his phone in the bathroom? Does he do this?
I do.
Yes. I'm not in his phone. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, whatever's in his phone is his phone. That's his privacy. I don't need to be his phone. I do know when I ask, give me your phone, it's given to me. Right? There's not a question.
The moment
there's not a question of
the moment
why
that
you want my phone.
So the moment that behavior changes is when now you got the antennas up,
Right.
and that's understandable.
Right.
That
But
know.
I will never just grab his phone and say, "Oh, give me your phone."
But you do that to me.
You do that to me. You know my passcode. You know my password to my phone.
Your
I
fingerprints
think
are.
I think you got your own Face ID on my phone.
Your fingerprints are on my phone.
But if I'm not transparent, then and explain why I believe that trust can be rebuilt, then I'm being fake. right? Because I can't say something or give my opinion about something that I personally haven't experienced. So in my experience, trust can be regained via an intimate relationship and via a long-term relationship where there's been a breakdown in that relationship.
But this human beings have a problem with being vulnerable, right? So it is probably one of the scariest things.
I don't think it's. I'm gonna disagree. I think it's society and society telling people, don't be stupid, don't go back to that, don't deal with that. And here's my thing: there is a threshold, right? I'm not with the whole domestic violence. I am not with the whole emotional abuse.
mental abuse.
Because there's levels of DV and it's like there's emotional, there's mental, there's physical. And I'm not
all
with
three
that.
suck.
So that's where my threshold.
Right.
That's where I'm like, okay, the buck stops here, right? But at the end of the day, when you're looking at a relationship, more often than not, the people closest to you, they'll tell you step out of that. You're better than that, and they're not understanding.
But
that
they never,
this person,
they never
this
walk in
person
your
still
shoes.
loves. This person still loves this person.
Right.
This person still loves this person. So again, don't feel stupid if you want to work on your relationship with the other person and
Absolutely
you have
not.
people chirping in your ears talking about, don't go back to that. You can't do this. You can't do. You be so stupid. You're not a pendeja. You're not a pendejo if you decide to rekindle whatever relationship you have with a friend
but
or
it's-
with a
it's-
person you're
But this is
intimate
the thing:
with.
it's okay to be vulnerable. It's people are scared to be vulnerable because they don't want to get hurt. And obviously, the moment there's a feeling of getting hurt, your brain goes into protection mode. So, but that's why it's one of the scariest things as human beings is to be vulnerable in any situation, and
Yeah, but if we're not vulnerable,
we need
how
to
do
be.
we know? How do we know what's real?
No, I know
How do
that's
we
what
know
I'm
what's
saying.
real?
We need to be vulnerable.
You know, like how do we know what's really real
we
if
can't
we're
be
not vulnerable?
we can't be scared to get hurt because our closest people in our lifetime, in one way or another, in our journey in life, the people that hurt, there will be some people that hurt you that love you. And it's, again, they might hurt you not with the intent of hurting you, but hurt you nevertheless. And, that's that vulnerability. Damn, if this person who says loves me can hurt me, anyone else can. So the walls are up, as you women call it. My walls are up. I don't want no one talking to me. No, red flag. Nope, gotta go.
Well, and that's the thing too. When it comes to red flags, when you're getting into any type of relationship and there's that red flag, do you have to pay attention to those? You absolutely do.
Yes.
But don't bring your baggage from your past into your present. Right?
Exactly.
You learn from your experiences. You learn from your past, but you can't bring that past with you forward because you know what? You're not really moving forward.
Or you can't bring it
You're
up.
still hanging up.
And you bring it up whenever you want to bring it up.
And on that point, one of the things while you're rebuilding and your trust and your security in your relationship, what you need to also do is put the past where it belongs, in the past.
You put it in a
Because
little,
what
box.
happened.
You can't do
I
anything
don't
about
need
it.
to be reminded 150 million times of what I did. I did it already. I can't change it. I can only tell you I am sorry. I'm willing to change. I'm willing to take these steps to work towards our future. That's all I can do because what's back there, it's where I left it. And if I'm growing, I'm not going to stick myself back there because I'm not doing any justice to myself. I'm not. You're not doing any justice to yourself because all you're saying to yourself is, well, this happened and this happened and this happened. Then how are you moving forward if you're still back there? Then go the fuck back there and deal with whatever the shit you left that's still back there. And then when you're ready to move forward, move forward. Move forward.
Angie says she was a DV survivor, and she said, "I'd rather have a cuerno than what I went through." And obviously, yeah, it's a completely different situation.
You know, and you
that's
know,
more detrimental.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
You know, thank you for sharing that.
Because
and
that usually ends up being
God bless you. You know what I'm saying? God bless you.
That
and
ends up being life or death situations
absolutely.
at that point. And
listen,
you know,
I deal with on almost a weekly basis with DV survivors. And when I tell you that when I hear these women, and their main thing is they want to stay, but they want to go. But they want to stay and they want to go. And this is what they do, right? Because I don't deal with the actual injunction. What I actually deal with, what I deal with is after the fact. So they have their injunction against the abuser, and they know that they can't speak to this abuser. They can't go within a certain amount because there is this injunction, but they still want material things, right? They want material things.
Like what?
All right, and you know, like cars, pictures, dogs, material things that can be. And I know dogs are sensitive. I know that.
Dogs, that's
but
all.
here I am. I'm saying to myself, you want to get so far from him or from her, and you follow this injunction, but then you want to find a way to still communicate with this person, right? And that's the hard part for domestic violence.
That attachment.
Yeah, it's that attachment, and that's still. I love you. Still remember, love is a feeling, right? It's a feeling, and you can love immensely. And when you can stick through the worst, and I'm not talking again. My threshold is when you come into that DV situation. That's my threshold. Below that, you know, if there's love, there between the two individuals and it can be worked out, that's how you know. How do you know that you really love somebody? It can't be all peaches and cream all the time.
Never.
You got to go through some struggles.
Of course.
You got to go through some struggles. You can't just, it can't be all
a lot of solid relationships. I think to have a solid relationship, you have to go through some trial and tribulations. You have to go to
How do you
something.
know you can survive?
Yeah, how do you know this person's gonna have your back, or you know, or that they really love you? Because again, we're not perfect. We fuck up. We fuck up all the time. It's about learning about your fuck up and then moving forward and correcting whatever it is, so you won't get into that situation.
Like I've often been asked, if you can go back, would you change it? No, because you know what? I may not be the same person that I am today had I not gone through that.
Right.
Right? And I'm not saying I did not walk away from my marriage, and I'm not saying I didn't give up on my marriage, because yes,
You might have not even
I
gone to
gave
law
up.
school.
I gave up. Exactly.
You might have never. That might have.
Exactly.
That most
I never
likely would have
even be
never.
here.
Yes.
I never probably
We
would have
wouldn't be
been
doing
here.
this podcast.
We wouldn't be doing this podcast.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
wouldn't have moved to Florida.
Yeah, wouldn't have
You
moved
know
to
what
Florida.
I'm saying? So you know, my guests wouldn't have moved to Florida. You feel me? So
A lot of people would have not moved to Florida, because everybody moves to fucking Florida.
there's just, you know, you have that chain reaction. And again, if I would go,
Cause and
it's
effect.
hard to admit that I wouldn't change what I went through, but it's only because I see where I am.
Yeah.
Right.
I always say I don't regret getting married, because me getting married actually put me in a situation where I shouldn't have never been. And if I had not gotten married, my life would have been so freaking different.
Mm-hmm.
And not for the good. Even though my marriage didn't work out, it actually worked out my life in that sense. So.
And this is what I'm saying. From every experience that you have, you grow. I mean, you know, I've had my relationships. You know, you've had your relationships, and you take from it
Everything.
not only the good, but you take the bad.
You have to take
Right?
the bad.
But then when you take the bad, at least for me, I've learned, stop being the victim. Fucking put your panties on, your big girl panties on, and look at yourself. Look at yourself, because again, it is so much easy, in my opinion, to point the finger at somebody else and blame the other person. That is the route out. You know, fuck the other person. Let them do what they want to do. Let them live how they want to live. Let them make the decisions they want to make. But you work on what you can control. You work on what you can change. Because that other person, they're going to do what they need to do in order to change if they want to. Because if they don't want to, they're not going to change no matter what the fuck you say. No matter what you do. It is up to that person. Everybody has their own independent state of mind. And that's where I think we get things twisted, that we think that by saying certain things, we can get a reaction, right? And I'm gonna do this to see if he's gonna change. I'm gonna do that to see if he's gonna change. No.
Yeah, you're not being transparent at that point.
No,
You're playing.
no.
That's a game. That's just a game.
You can't do that.
Tell me what you want to do. Do you want to work on this? If you don't, then I'll respect you either way. Like, we have to come to some type of consensus,
Right.
Instead of going back and forth with this freaking going around the block shit.
You know, and I one of the phrases I say, there's sometimes that
One of your many
we have
phrases.
to break. We have to break
Dance.
in order to mend, and that is not a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing.
That's why I
when
said
two
we're
people-
all
when two people
broken.
have been together for a long time, or friendship has been together for, right? Because you get so used to your friendship that it's like, okay, we're used to it, but then you grow apart.
Alex Malibu Black.
You
Brown
grow
Rum.
apart. You grow apart in friendships. You go apart in relationships. And if it has to break, let it break.
Broken,
Right?
broken
And-
things. I was reading something. It's Asian culture.
They
that
break plates,
they
and
break
they put
plates,
them back
and
together.
they put them back together,
And they
then
make something more beautiful
right.
than
So
what
they don't.
had.
They never expect that when they put the plate back together, it's going to be the same plate. Their expectation is putting back the plate now grows something new. It flourishes. So it wasn't the original plate. We're all broken. The moment we are broken and we put the pieces back together, we are a
As
new
we
person.
see fit.
Right.
As we see
Exactly.
fit. We, because it's not an I, it's a we thing. And that's another thing
I
too.
love Super Mega Producer. He's fun.
Yo, he's working on
He's
the
on
fly.
point. He's on
working
point.
on the fly. But
What the
yeah.
hell? What is Alex talking about? Malibu Black Brown Rum. What? What?
She would have never, none of this would have happened to me. She would have never been introduced to Malibu Black Rum.
Oh.
I introduced her to Malibu Black Rum.
Got you.
Yeah, and Alex, if none of this would have happened, remember, you would not have made the song. So there's just, you have to look at things just from, in my opinion, from a broader viewpoint. And I know it's hard.
We have to be open.
Because nobody wants to feel like a sucker. Nobody wants to feel manipulated. Nobody wants to feel insecure. And again, it's the, I'm not going to deal with this bullshit. I'm not going to deal with that bullshit. I'm not going to deal with that.
People are afraid to be vulnerable for one main reason. They're afraid of how other people are going to judge them.
Absolutely.
And you should not give a fuck what people
Absolutely.
say. Follow your heart.
Absolutely.
Use your brain, but follow your heart and forget about all the outside noise. Like, honestly, follow your heart. It'll always tell you. It might not be right at the moment, but you know there's something there. Like, there's that fit. But at the moment, there might be something that needs to be tweaked. And it's just a matter of, do you want to go through the work of doing it? If you don't, then you don't. But at least be honest about it and upfront.
And here's one thing that I always say too.
You say a lot of things.
I also believe that people are not bad. People make bad decisions. Right? So when
Yes.
you're trying to communicate to someone that they have done something wrong, don't dehumanize them. Don't dehumanize them because they're human. They are human. And the most important thing you have to remember is that their decision was bad. Their action was bad.
Yes.
Okay, but we're not perfect.
One bad incident doesn't make you a bad person.
Right.
A pattern makes you a bad person.
Correct.
So
Right.
there's a big distinction between that. So if there is a mistake being done, again, we're not perfect. Yeah, it doesn't make you a bad person. But if you continue the same action and the same behavior, then you become a bad person. That's where you become a narcissist, and it leads to other things, and you're evil and you don't care about people, and you deserve to be fed to the gators.
Yeah, and because I know personally, we have a tendency to do that. We have a tendency to just dehumanize another person and want to make them feel the pain that one is feeling. And I know there was a time where venom was coming out my mouth. Ooh, was venom coming out my mouth. And then I became this ugly person.
Mm-hmm.
An ugly person. And when I finally it all came to fruition, I was like, who the fuck am I?
All you felt was anger and all these negative thoughts and feelings, and that's exactly what exuded out of you.
I looked at myself and I was like, I am right now a horrible person because I became a horrible person. I did, and that's the truth. I became no one else saw me as a horrible person, but I saw myself as a horrible person because of what I was doing and how I was saying things, and you couldn't even. I know my mom one time said, "Damn, I can't even talk to you."
They're very subtle.
Yeah.
They're very subtle, and if you don't pay attention to cues and clues, you just continue with that behavior. Like that, and that's why it's important to just take a pause.
Mm-hmm. Alexandra Music said, y'all speaking to my soul and situation. Just Peachy said, people now rather throw out something that is broken instead of putting the pieces back together to make something better.
Absolutely. It's easier to walk.
100%.
Easier to walk away. It's easier to, the plate is broken, I'll just buy another one. That's
Yeah.
exactly what it is.
And it also comes from, in my opinion, it's also about communication, right? There's people that don't know how to communicate. And you can blame them and you cannot blame them depending on how they were brought up, right? Because we were brought up, at least for me, there were certain topics I can have with my parents. Right, and there were certain topics that I couldn't have with my parents.
Well,
so I would have those topics. I would have those conversations with my friends. But what the fuck does my friends know?
They don't know as much as you do.
They don't know anything. But that's what I went by. Right. So there were certain things that I was like, I can't communicate this to this person.
The streets taught you.
Yeah, I can't communicate.
But that's a subject for another matter.
Yeah, it's communicate. Communicate, and put it out on the table. And when I say communicate, I'm talking about give this person 15 minutes. Let them talk. Don't interrupt them. Don't tell them they're wrong.
So no one understands.
And please, don't invalidate a person's feelings. You cannot tell me if I tell you I feel angry. Don't tell me, no, you do not. I feel neglected. No, you do not.
How you feel is how you feel.
I feel that. I feel it. If I'm telling you that's how I feel,
but that's where
don't come at me and be like, you're wrong.
You gotta
no, boo, I'm right because I'm here.
That's where the understanding comes. You have to comprehend the person and understand why they feel that way. And you might not, you don't know, because I can't be in you and say, oh, this is how you feel. I can't relate to that, but you have to communicate it somehow. Sign language, smoke signals, something like that.
If I tell you I feel neglected, in my opinion, if you are saying to you, right, because you're on the other spectrum and you're saying, I am feeding you, making dinner, I'm working, I'm doing the laundry, I'm washing the dishes, I'm taking care of the kids, I'm bringing home money,
I do a lot.
But I still feel neglected, right? Mm-hmm. Why? Because your time is doing all of that. And for you, that's how you believe that you're filling my needs and my wants.
Well, if I don't do it, no one's going to do it.
But you're not going to know that, because according to you, when I tell you I feel neglected, you're going to be like, I'm doing all this stuff. How could you feel neglected? And if I'm neglecting you, it's because I'm doing all that stuff, right? But then that's where I have to come into play and say, you're doing all of that, and I appreciate all of that, but I'm still missing something.
That's not, but see, the way you said it, it's
not
never
what
conveyed. It's never said.
I know.
That delivery is not done that way, because we're angry, we're mad, we feel hurt.
We want what we
don't
want,
take
and
a
we want
pause.
it now.
It's instant gratification. It's like, no, I want answers now. I want this done now. This is the way it is going to be. And
like, how could you not know? How could you not know I want this?
I was supposed to read your mind?
Yeah, you were.
What?
Come on.
I was supposed to get the 35 other clues that you gave me?
Today. I wanted to go out to dinner today. Why didn't you make plans?
Because we started watching Gordon Ramsay, so that was the hint? That's why. Okay. Oh, that's why I was supposed to make Disney reservations. Got it. We started watching Hell's Kitchen. Damn it. Now I understand the correlation.
I showed you.
I just want to pull my hair out.
I showed you exactly what I wanted. How did you
that
not know?
steak looks good. He's a great chef. They just opened the restaurant last week. Oh, instead of just saying, yo, that looks steak, you know what we should do? Yo, let's go out to dinner.
And one of the you taught me that. One of the things, every time you and I talk, you always, this is you. This is actually you.
Okay, wait.
But did you tell him? Did you actually say what you just said to me?
Right? Correct.
And I take a step back, and I'm like, no, I didn't. Right, I did, and I get my feedback from a male, because he's a man, and
yo soy hombre. Yo soy hombre.
Oh, you're a man.
Yo soy hombre. Creo que sí.
So I take that moment and I'm like, you know what, I did it. So I'm bitching about something that I haven't even effectively communicated to the person that I'm bitching about. Does that make sense?
Absolutely not.
It doesn't make sense.
Nope.
Right? Because if they don't know, you can't bitch. And again, this is me with growth. This is me with change. This is me with acceptance. And this is me working on me. I'm not working on him, because he's going to do whatever the fuck he wants to do. Now, when something is starting to affect me, that's when I will communicate, this is affecting me. This is hurting me. This is how I feel. And there have been times that I'm like, he's like, you're exaggerating. You don't feel that. And I'm like, don't do that. Because you're not me, and you're not in my shoes, and you don't know what I feel. So listen to
None
me.
of us know.
And if you don't understand me, tell me you don't understand, and I'll try to explain it.
We can never
There's times-
know. We can never know how the other person feels, but we can't understand how the other person
There are
feels.
times that I do this. I don't need a reaction. I don't need you to come back to me. I just want to just express myself, and these are my thoughts, these are my feelings, and it's not for an argument. You can express whatever you have to express to me about it, but this is just for me to open up.
Look. Carcara. I can't even pronounce it. She goes,
Carkira, that's my homegirl.
20,
I've known her.
see, she goes, 20 years I expect him to know. See, that's what killed me, bro. I'm like, yo, it can't be that way.
But
Because
it depends.
we get to, I mean, after a certain amount of years, we tend, I would hope that you would understand your partner
What does
and
my husband know?
can anticipate.
What
But it
does-
doesn't
yeah.
always happen, and you can't get angry or mad if it doesn't happen that way, because hey, if I was married to you and I'm pretty good at anticipating everything, and there's a couple of times, maybe because I'm working 6 days a week, I'm not totally focused on that because there's something else going on. You can't just go batshit crazy on me because, but you're doing it all this time, and now, but baby, I've been working 7 days a week. Hello, you want a fence, right? So I gotta work.
But to Kate Carkira's point, 20 years. Okay.
Kira.
Okay, here's what I know. What do a lot of people know about me in general? If you know me, what are the two things that I love?
You like to talk?
No. Mother effer. No.
Mother effer.
What are the two things that I like?
You like to debate.
No. Damn, you don't know the two things that I like most? If you don't know the two things that I like most, you got an issue.
All right, let me think.
I'm going to just say wine and shoes.
Oh, you talking about those type of
Yeah,
things?
wine and shoes. If you know something about me, I love my wine and I love my
No,
shoes.
but your shoes not so much anymore.
Not anymore.
Wine, you
2
are
reasons,
you
because
are a
I no longer
wino.
have just my shoe closet.
Plus, you
I have
also
a closet.
you don't even have the opportunity to wear them.
and I'm not going out. Plus, I gained weight, so and all my shoes are always high heels.
Maybe
My toes be hurting me. And in Florida, you go everywhere in flip flops, so it is what it is. But no, I love wine and shoes. Does my husband know that? Absolutely, he knows that. But does he have to change that up? Sometimes the time he does. And how is he going to change it up? I gotta let him know. You just cut me off.
no, you're still talking.
So what are you doing? Stop playing with the.
There's an echo. That's why.
Oh, okay.
I'm paying attention to logistics.
So yeah,
And to super mega producer.
yes, writing is always my thing. I always write. There's always my book is full. I have books everywhere. But yeah, this is what I'm saying. Of course, after a certain amount of time, you do expect the other person to know you. But again, we're growing. We're growing. Like I got into crystal healing, right? And Ben was aware of that crystal healing. So now it's like, okay, you want money for crystals? Of course I want money for crystals. What are you saying? So as we grow, we change. We want different things. And it's about continuing to learn about that, about your relationship with that person. And again, understanding that nothing ever stays the same. Things are going to change and you're going to grow apart. And coming back together is what, it's hard, but you can. And you could still continue to grow apart, And when I say grow apart, I mean,
It's like shedding skin. So it's like your skin, all right, you have this, you shed it, and then you got another one.
right.
Better, stronger,
Right.
faster, like the
Right.
$6 million man.
Yeah. Like, I'm not going to lie. When I came here, I'm working full time. I'm going to school full time. I'm in law school. I'm focused on that. And then all of a sudden, law school stops, right? And then he's in the studio and he's building his stuff. And I'm all for what he's doing. But at some point, I'm like, I feel neglected. Like, it's all about his studio. But then I'm like, on the flip side, saying, now, while you were in law school and working, don't you think he must have felt neglected when you were working, working from 9 to 5, and then from 5 to 11 o'clock at night, you're in school and he's not seeing you during the week, and then on the weekend you're studying because you need to do all your work. Yeah, but of course, at that moment, I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about my neglect. But then when I say it, I'm like, you know what? He must have felt that same way too. So I need to step back and I need to let him rock and let him roll on his nights that he does his thing and not feel a certain type of way. I think we've gone over our time.
Not really, but we're trying to keep it at a certain
Super.
I'm out.
Y'all have club mics. My brother chimed in.
Super mega
Super
producer.
mega producer
You
told
gotta-
us time was
You
up.
gotta get that right, at some point.
Super mega producer.
Yeah,
Super, not super. Super.
because
¿Verdad? Como sopa.
you give out government names and all these other names. He is during this time period. He is super mega producer.
There's a lot of information out there in the Google world.
Okay.
Googlealo.
Got you.
Googlealo. So we are always here. Are we? Listen, I want to just remind you, January 2nd is my 18th anniversary.
Okay.
Okay. That's next Sunday. So I don't know. Are we being live? Honey, are we going to be live? Oh, super mega producer. My bad.
There you go.
Super mega producer. No.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure, I think we'll discuss it. We're listen. He and I anniversary is every day. Our anniversary is every day, and whether we love each other on that day or whether we hate each other on that day, it's still our anniversary. He knows I love him to death no matter what.
Not literally to death, but
And Nelson's been there. Nelson can see how sometimes we get up on each other.
I can't understand
so
sometimes.
we'll see.
I just really can't.
But
I need to walk away.
But you understand after. I mean,
The dynamic, I understand
Yeah.
the dynamic
Yeah.
that you guys have. So
Yeah.
because I understand the history. So plus I don't judge, and so I can.
which I thank you for, because you could have been one, especially seeing,
like some others have.
especially seeing me. I'm your ace, and you see me going through everything I'm going through. You could have been one to be like, fuck him and the horse. he
No,
rode on.
I've actually been one of his biggest supporters.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah. So, but with that, if anybody wants to chime in, we're under 3 hours. Sunny1209 said we're under 3 hours. I got that right. I didn't say Sony this time. I said Sunny. No, it's it's Sony.
yeah, it's Sony. It's
Oh, my India's on. Hi, Hardcore. How are you?
Everybody, please, we've loved the support. We love the feedback. Please share, like, subscribe, and follow our,
Right.
our YouTube pages and, Instagram and Facebook. So, there's been a lot of messages, at least in my part, I know she shared some, that people have gotten really...
Some things can be fixed, others can't. I'm here. Yeah, I'm going back and I'm reading in messages.
People
on
have
Instagram.
gotten
makes you
really
happy.
good vibes from it, and actually has awakened something in their soul or in their mind that was previously dormant, and have actually come to the realization that they need to work on themselves in some facet. And I'm happy for it, that we've been able to do that for people out there, and I'm glad for that. So please, continue spreading the word, and we're just trying to be kind of amused to many of you out there,
Yeah.
and just be transparent about things, because I know this is conversations that we all have
It's
behind
hard.
our
It's
closed
hard.
doors, but they're hard conversations behind closed doors. Imagine in front of an audience speaking about these things, it's that much harder. But if we can give insight to things that are normal, but give them a forum where you're not afraid to speak up on these issues, then I think we become better people, better human beings, and we get to understand each other much better.
There are a lot of battles, and how you fight the battles is what determines whether, not that you win, but if you reach that
Winning is half the battle. G.I. Joe.
No, and that's the thing, you have to, before you battle anybody else, you battle yourself.
Your biggest battle, I always say, is between you and what's in between your ears, your
Yeah.
brain.
Yeah.
That's the biggest
That's
fight.
the
That's
biggest
and then
battle.
the next fight is the brain between the brain and the heart.
Yeah.
Those are your two biggest battles in life, and always will be there. They're not going away. You have to be patient. You have to have a process. You have to be disciplined, and it's hard work.
And we all mess up. We all make bad decisions.
Doesn't make you a bad
We do.
person.
You're not a bad person. It's a bad decision. It's a bad act. But if you want to change, you can change. And if you want to grow, you can grow.
It's how you respond to the situation is what makes your character.
Yeah.
100%.
Yep. But we
Right?
love having you all 100. We love having you all with us tonight.
If you came in late, YouTube will be on later tonight, or for sure tomorrow. You can see the replay on Instagram. We'll repost it on Facebook. We'll also repost it. I know they're a little bit long, but it's amazing how one topic, and then you could just continually flow and speak about it. And I think this is a great way to people to be on the outside looking in.
And this is not scripted. This is
absolutely
what
not
we do here
scripted.
is not scripted. And I'm sure that you and I had a conversation regarding trust, but not that we said let's sit down and have a trust conversation.
No, not at all.
So
let's write things.
It's not
and this is gonna
scripted.
do it. No.
I think Super Mega produces it. He's a little bit mad. Hardcore one. If you you join. Yeah, I know you're asking what today's topic is. It was regaining trust. It will be on YouTube. The recording will be on YouTube. The recording will be on Instagram. It's also on our Facebook page as well. So
all the links are in the profile. You can check them all out. Yeah. And we'll be good.
Yeah, we need an assistant today. Do either one of you want to be an assistant to turn off IG when it's time?
Yeah, it's over there.
Please and thank you. Good job. So thank you,
Miss. Thank you
for joining us. It's the new year. Reevaluate, reconsider, and I think that's the same word. Reevaluate, reconsider, rebuild, restructure.
We'll let you know when we're coming on.
That's what New Year brings, right? And it's not about New Year resolutions. It's about
Oh, can we talk about that?
That's our next. We can talk about
New York resolution. New York. Oh yeah. So New Year's resolutions and how bullshit they are. I'm sorry.
Correct.
I'm gonna preach on that shit.
Correct. Yeah.
So.
But yeah, take the time and just you can chime in, DM us. I'm on Facebook. It's Mia Malave, and then on Instagram.
Check out our hashtags. All the information is there. Follow us, and you'll get it. Like always open to have conversations.
And there's no judgment. There's no judgment at all. That's the most important thing. There's no judgment because like I said, nobody's perfect.
Sonia, I can't stand you.
New Year, new me.
There's no such thing as New Year, new me. Stop it.
You're always you.
Yeah.
You're always no. I want to agree with her.
No.
There is a new me
Never the new year.
because we grow.
We don't grow because
so
the new
we
year
grow,
happened.
but we don't grow. But it doesn't mean.
Stop. We'll leave that.
It doesn't mean that
stop.
every year we grow.
Stop.
We grow every day.
See, this is what I deal with. We can't even end the damn show, and she's already talking about next week's topic.
All right,
people. Thank you for coming.
Love you guys. Have a good one. Enjoy your week.
Always love, always laugh,
Happy
always
New
live.
Year.
Happy New Year. We'll see you somewhere in the new year and everything.